Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby. This will be the last match for the Springboks side until the first test match of the Greatest Rivalry Tour. Now, we did see in New Zealand in action yesterday against the Stormers. It wasn't their greatest performance. There was a bit of rotation in that All Black side. That is something that Rassi has done so well throughout the last 24 months, if not longer. And in this game here, you'd have to argue there is rotation again. This is where we get to see a lot of guys coming back from their injuries, whether that's Eben Etzebeth, Ludiacha, Sia Kolisi. The list does go on. Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu in that backline too. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting game against the Argentines, who at the moment are in a little bit of a weird middle phase again. Seems to happen quite a bit for Los Pumas. They lost that game narrowly up against the English. They want to bounce back, and they have been able to beat South Africa in Argentina within the last couple years, but a very different looking lineup with the absentee in the number 10 jersey. We have got their kickoff in an hour, right? That is correct, yes. Or actually, all of a sudden, since starting the side stream, we're already a minute in. I feel like this day is just going absolutely flying by. I don't know whether or not you guys feel the same way. Japan versus Australia, even with a few stoppages along the way in that contest, it just absolutely flew. And it was also a brilliant contest back and forth between the two sides. In the end, the Aussies just narrowly managing to hang on. We have the Ahoy H, says One Pierre Bosch. Welcome in, hope you're doing well. Hello, how you doing? Says Hannah, doing very well. It's currently 6 a.m. here in New Zealand, but somehow I am half by wide awake, which I wouldn't have been predicting, that is for sure. I felt pretty exhausted earlier on, but maybe it's just because the green and gold versus Los Pumas is just around the corner. But yeah, it should be a fantastic contest. Looking through at the Argentine starting lineup, a lot of changes compared to what we saw in the July Internationals. It is Boris Winger in the front row alongside Inacio Ruiz, so no Julio Montoya for this contest, and then Francisco Moreno starting in as the number 3. Guido Petti alongside Thomas Lavanini. Now, Lavanini, he actually played for the Highlanders in Super Rugby Pacific. He was the almost, you could argue, Fabian Holland replacement. But he didn't get a lot of game time at times, Lavanini. He should be relatively fresh heading into this matchup. And then in the loose ball trio, it is the captain, Pablo Matera, as the number 6. Benjamin Grondona alongside Joaquin Moro. It will make up the loose ball trio. Simon Benitez Cruz slots in at 9 with Santiago Herreras as the 10. Now, that is mainly due to the, I don't want to call it a ban. Well, it is a ban, really, of Thomas Albanoz. I don't know whether or not there is an actual time frame that man is going to be missing as of yet. I haven't actually heard too much about it, but that is, of course, from what happened in the game up against the English. Inacio Mendy out on the left wing. In the midfield, it is going to be Sanchez Valerolo as the 12 with Lucio Cinti at 13. Rodrigo Isgro out on the right wing, and then Prisciantelli as the 15. For this matchup, looking through at South Africa's lineup, and like I mentioned, there has been a lot of changes. And in fact, yeah, it's got Mani Lebok as the 10. That is a little bit of a mistake. It is supposed to be Sasha Feinberg and Ngume Zulu. I know that he's coming back from an injury, but yeah, he is luckily not injured again. We'll get that switched up before the start of this stream. Well, at least the start of this match. But we have got the 6 a.m. is no excuse, says Xander. An opinion on the TMO and the Stormers versus All Black side. A lot of people were mad at it. I wasn't too bothered by it, says Gutsia. If the TMO is quick, it's fine. It's the ones that take a long time, I think, that a lot of people were annoyed about. There were multiple times where it seemed like a decision was straightforward, but they managed to extend it to about a 2 or 3 minute wait. So I don't mind the TMO being involved. And I know that that's one of those ones that, like, I sigh every time they go with the drawing of the screen. But yeah, as long as it's getting the right call in the end, I don't mind it. It's when it takes a long time to get the right call. That's the one that does take the momentum out of a game. Mainly for, I would say, the supporters. You know, for the players, they're used to the stop-start kind of nature of a contest because of injuries, because of everything along those lines. But if you're a new spectator watching this Greatest Rivalry Tour, which they have had it available in a lot of different countries for this upcoming... Oh, they're just showing that Sinatla dive again between the posts. He almost really damaged his neck, but luckily was all right. But yeah, I think that the way you get new fans into rugby is by keeping it flowing. So you have to make sure if they do it, they get the right call for one, but they also do it quick enough that people don't go, still waiting. Will this be the game or Only Man Talking? Only Man Talking. That should be my YouTube name. Only Man Talking. That would be quite good. We have got there Also, whereas Sasha, he is playing. We just have to change the lineup because for some reason he didn't get loaded in. So I will switch that now. But Mani Lebok is not in the number 10 jersey, I will mention. It is going to be Sasha returning from his injury. It's Andre Pollard playing tonight. He is playing from the number 23 jersey, Andre Pollard, for this one. I'm just excited for this game, says Chante there. Yeah, this is going to be an awesome matchup. And what we have seen recently from Argentina, it's quite interesting. Just over the last, I would say, 3 weeks or so, Argentina have gone from a lot of people's secondary team to way down the list. There's something that's happened with the Argentines that a lot of people have been more so annoyed about, definitely with what happened in that England versus Argentina match. I'm going to quickly go Sasha. There we go. We'll go like that. And I think what I have to do as well, just 1 second, ladies and gents, we'll close this or at least minimize it. How do I do that? There we go. Hopefully you guys can still see the scoreboard, can you? Yeah, it's just a weird middle block at the moment. We'll go like that. We'll go like that. We're doing it on the fly. Screenshot. Like that. There we go. I'm probably frozen at the moment, ladies and gents. But hopefully you can still slightly see me. We'll save that. We'll chuck that there. We'll click that button. We'll extend that one to full screen again. And we'll almost be sorted. I'll just switch that one in the background. Hopefully. 1 second. We'll click that button. I don't think I've ever done that so quickly as well. So that might actually be a little bit of a record for the channel. We'll stick that one there. Save that. Save that. Chuck it in the background. We're good to go. There's one hell of a game to be debuting as a tight head prop for Moreno. Yeah. I mean, it's a welcome to internationals, isn't it? To just go out there up against the side like the Boks. And this is not exactly... I know that Rassi does a lot of rotation, right? But this seems like a relatively settled side in a way on paper. We have seen a lot of these guys getting decent game time throughout recent fixtures. I have to say, Boan Fenta 1, Thomas Dutoy as the number 3. That's a tough old scrum to deal with when you just get in there. We have got there. Hi, Hamish. Great to see you again. Great to see you too, Hunter. I saw a highlight of him almost falling on his neck when he went for the try. You were right, Hamish. It looked inches away from a bad fall. But yeah, the fact that it could have been disastrous for Sanutla, just he underestimated how good he was at jumping. You always ask for our predictions. What is yours for this game? Says Jean Wright. I would say, for me, if Argentina come to play, I think South Africa will only beat them by about 12. I think if Argentina don't come to play, though, which I believe might be the case because of some of the big players missing, I think as soon as you don't name Montoya in an Argentine lineup, that's a big driving tackle from the All Black Stormers game. But yeah, if you don't name Julian Montoya, if you don't have someone like a Crema, if you don't have Joaquin Oviedo, if you look at the backs and you realize who's missing from that equation, I think South Africa 25 points in their favour is not unrealistic in this scenario. We have got their morning lads says steady banging. I always underestimate how good I am at jumping. I would say I underestimate mine, but I don't jump well. At high school, when we were doing high jump, I actually didn't get a participation point because they were like, you're not trying. But I used to have like decent vertical leap, but I don't know what happened. I guess I got heavy or like I got dense. I think it's just that I'm dense. We have got there. What time is the game? Game is kicking off in 52 minutes. So it's a little while, but we have got plenty to go through for this Greatest Rivalry Tour, as well as kind of what else is to come in the international scene. But looking through at the South African starting lineup, it is Boan Fenta in the front row alongside Johan Grobbelaar and also Thomas Dutoy. Thomas Dutoy, I think, is almost locked in as that main tight head prop, you'd have to argue, for the South Africans. I remember when we went through that little bit of a patch where the likes of a Franz Malharba was starting to get injured and they were wondering, who's that next guy? And it does seem like at the moment, Thomas Dutoy, the way that he's playing, also with the ban of Klapakanye, it means that I would say he is number 1, but I want to know from you guys, who is number 2 in terms of tight head props at the moment for the South Africans? Who would you have as your next guy? Is it Wilco Lowe? Is it Zachary Porfin as a bit of a future option? Perhaps as well. We have got the Imagine a 49-0 for the Springboks. The thing is, it would be a great game for the Boks, but I think it would be a pretty rough game to call. That's all I'll say. I want to see a little bit of a contest, at least maybe have it, let's say, 49-14, but have it 14 all at the start of the game, just to give us a little bit of something from the Argentines. But I agree that if South Africa flow from the get-go, it's going to be brutal for this Argentine team who may just not quite have their head in the game, although there might be the opposite. We might see a fired-up Argentina after what happened in the Nations Championship. We have got there, before I give my prediction, first tell me the form of Argentina. I honestly don't know where to place this Argentine side, so what we'll do is we'll show you what they've done. There we go. So these are their matches throughout the July Internationals, the first 3 rounds of the Nations Championship. Scotland were able to beat the Argentines, although Argentina did have a lot of chances in that game to be able to get the victory. They were able to take down the Welsh, which I know a lot of people would say, oh, well, everyone does. But Wales have got better throughout the last little while, and then their game up against the English, it was a controversial as well as really ugly type of matchup. I don't think I've seen a game of rugby where there's been so much scuffle and so many little pushes off the ball, little comments made between the teams. I mean, we've got a guy who got banned for half a year or so from that matchup because of how he felt towards the referee, but 31-24. So Argentina, throughout the Nations Championship games just last month, or 2 months, no, not just last month, we're only in August, they won 1 out of 3. But in every game, they were able to bring up at least 24 points. So they'll be hoping to do the same thing here against the South Africans for South Africa's form. They were able to take down the Barbarians in what was a 111-point thriller for that first matchup of the season. Then from there, beating the English by an extensive margin of 24 points. From there, beating Scotland by 14. And then the 43-0 up against the Welsh. So having a clean sheet in their most recent fixture, South Africa looking to do it again in this match against Los Pumas. But what is to come in the near future for these two sides? Well, the South Africans, they have got the Greatest Rivalry Tour. That is only going to be, I believe, now sitting 14 days away, 2 weeks' time until that first test match. Then from there, it is just week after week that we get to see those tests taking place. And I'm very excited about it. 4 matches. We've seen so many predictions of whether it's going to be 2-all, 3-1, 4-0. I guess there could be a draw in there too, just to throw a bit of a curveball into the equation. In fact, that would actually be really good. Imagine that. Have 1 win South Africa, 1 win New Zealand, draw, and then the last, but do you want the last test match to be the decider with it being in the USA? I think so. I think it would attract quite a few people to go and watch that game. I believe it's already almost sold out, if not already sold out. As a crowd really getting behind it. Then they also have their game up against the Australians taking place in 50 days' time. And then Argentina versus Australia. That is in 30 days for Los Pumas. We have got the evening, Hamish. It's nearly showtime. And also South Africa 46-19. I hope you're doing well. Good and well, my friend, says Farouk. Same to you. But yeah, very excited for what is going on in terms of this Nations Championship around the corner. In terms of the Greatest Rivalry Tour, it's a really decent year for rugby at this point in time, and I am hoping that it just continues going from strength to strength. How late did you wake up yesterday for the ABs versus Stormers game? I guess pretty early. Yeah, it was an early morning start for myself. I can't actually completely remember off the top of my head. I think it was, what time did the game start? Game started at 5. We started the stream at 4, so I think I got up at about 3 a.m. on the Saturday morning, and then just a little bit later on in the day, I ended up going away, driving to the airport to pick up my uncle and auntie. So it's been a busy time. And then a little snooze back into it for, well, actually the snooze was after Japan versus Australia, boxed by 28. Also, Hamish, you need to shave. Well, that's what some people, well, actually, the weird thing is more people have said to keep it rather than shaving it. So I don't know what to do. So, yeah, I haven't quite decided. I was pretty much adamant that I was getting rid of it. But now people have said that I should keep it. But I am going to be helping out with my Nana's, charity quiz night on Wednesday. So I think I have to look presentable because, you want to look nice for your Nana, don't you? You want her to think, oh, well, he's still doing something with himself. But no, she's great. Shout out to my Nana. She won't be watching at the moment, but she occasionally watches the channel, which is quite cute. We have there, it's box for me, says Nishi there. The Springboks need to dominate from the first whistle. Let's go the Bok, says Optums. And rugby never became like football with the theoretical stuff or theatrical stuff. Says Hunter, bring back Razor, go the Pumas. If the referee isn't up the wires, says Middle. Argentina's going to make history. Can't wait. Their land and their home is on the line. Play their hearts out, smashing Pumas. Well, that's the thing. Like I said, their game up against the English was so weird. as a whole, in terms of the controversy around that game, in terms of the aggression between both sides, this game up against the Boks, there might be a little bit of extra momentum or a little bit of extra fire in the belly of this Argentine side to try and prove what they can do. And at the end of the day, there isn't a rugby championship this year, but it would look pretty good on paper if they were able to beat South Africa and then somehow get through the Aussies twice, which I think is doable after the way Australia played against Japan. We have got there, I bet you $50, there's going to be a couple of wet Argentinians in about 50 minutes. A couple of wet Argentinians. What are you going to do to them? You're going to pour water on them? We have got there, yo, Hamish, how are you? I tried to join the live yesterday, but there was no signal in the stadium. Says Inferno. But yeah, hopefully you did enjoy the game. The atmosphere looked pretty incredible for that first contest, which is absolutely awesome. I will mention as well, we are only 45 minutes away from the start of this game, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely flying. Hey, Hamish, hope the Boks have this in the bag. Also, you've got Kanamuni instead of Kanan in your lineup. The thing is, we've already edited it once. Should I switch it again? Or do I just have it as a little bit of a... Actually, we always have one spelling error. Do not shave, keep the beard, Hamish. Says Annie Baby, and keep it. Says Nishi there. And we have got the nice beard, bro, says Clive. And also your sleep schedule going to get destroyed in the next 5 weeks. It's gotten destroyed over the last 5 years, though. So it's nothing new. What time is kickoff? It has taken place at 9 p.m. South African time. And also 7 a.m. for us here in New Zealand. I don't usually go well. Or it doesn't normally go well when the Boks dominate from the beginning. Says Chante, and come on to South Africa. You'll pull chicks with that beard. Oh, sorry, come to South Africa, Hamish. And we have got there, Sasha to have an absolute beauty of a game. Well, that's the thing. First game back for Sasha since getting that injury. I just hope, and I've mentioned about this multiple times all throughout the weekend, I just hope everyone gets out of this game injury-free. Because there is the greatest rivalry, 4 test matches just around the corner. Then following that, they go up against the Aussies and then jumping into the Nations Championships. But the likes of Eben Etzebeth, Ludiacha, Seal Kolisi, all coming back from their own injuries. Cameron Honeycomb, he came back from an injury earlier on in the season. So you want to see as many players make it through this game. Morne van den Berg coming off the bench. He has recently returned from the injury too. So yeah, if everyone can get out of this game injury-free, rearing to go, Rassi is going to have an insane amount of players that he can choose from for those All Black tests. We have got there, is this a chat? Or will we see the game? Thanks, asking from the Philippines. Says Michael, so sadly it is just me chatting away. That is due to YouTube's licensing and copyright infringement law. So it does mean that I can't show any match footage or audio, but we are able to talk about the game. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing throughout the contest. Keep the beard, Hamish. And also with the greatest rivalry, do you think Sharks and Bulls can beat New Zealand? I don't think the Sharks will, because I believe that will be New Zealand's more so full strength, or at least closer to it. But I would say the game up against the Bulls, depending on the side, I think could be a lot closer than some are thinking. This is a strong Boks side. Yeah, this is what I think Rassi will be trying to build towards heading into that Rugby World Cup. Of course, he'll have his guys like Damien Dialende, Cheslin Colby, Jesse Krill, and the 4-pack. You're going to see a few guys like a Jasper Vesa, Peter Steph Toy, but a very handy secondary mixture, I guess you could call it, for this contest, which is exactly what Rassi, as I said, has been doing throughout the last few years, trying to build up the depth. We have got there, is he the guy they call the Beast of Buenos Aires for Boris Winger? I know that he's made his way off the bench, I believe, a couple times throughout the July Internationals. I'm not sure what his nickname is, but big solid boy, and I think that they have to be solid because we know how dangerous this Boks scrum can be. We've seen them scrummage some of the best sides around the world off the park. We saw the Stormers scrummage the All Blacks extremely well too. I definitely think Argentina will put up a worthy match. You already know it's Boks for me. It's going to be a good game, says Nishi. And also, how long since I was in your stream, says Yako? It's been a little while, I believe. Were you here in July, or was it before that, Yako? Actual Legend says Terrence there. And also, South Africa versus New Zealand greatest rivalry is all that counts. Says Endless. I mean, Nations Championship trophy in the cabinet would also be pretty handy. And then I guess further down the line, the World Cup. But yeah, at this stage, the greatest rivalry, it has been built into something quite big, and the fans are fully invested in it. By the looks of it, what time is the game? The game has taken place in 40 minutes' time. So we're still a little way away, but still a lot to go through when it comes to these two sides. Hi all. Looks like you've had some good sleep in the last 2 weeks. No, not at all. I've had no sleep-ins throughout the last 3 weeks or so. Normally I love a good sleep-in after a long weekend. Haven't had that. So maybe in 3 weeks' time, I'll get a nice little snooze. We have got the territorial kick. Still a problem, even though Sasha is back. Fassi and Kobus need to kick well, says Sven. And I think there is a lot of pressure on Apalele Fassi heading into this contest. We have talked about him and his recent form throughout July. A lot of people not really happy with the way that he's been playing. And the thing is, he is a good player. In fact, he's a very good player. But he's been making mistakes that straight away put people off him. It's a little bit similar to Anton Leonard-Brown, right? He got himself a yellow card in the game against the Stormers, but I believe he also still got man of the match. But because of that yellow card, everyone said, nope, get him out of there. But he actually wasn't that bad on the park as a whole. It's just that one ill-disciplined moment. Moni Waino Colby, still rotation from Rasi, saving Colby for the Greatest Rivalry Tour. I believe Colby will be playing probably 2 out of the matches, out of the 4, maybe even more than that, depending on what their plan is with the kicking tee. East Day was embarrassing, actually. Says Shante in there. And also we have the Vikings had a saying, the beard needs to tickle the chest, otherwise it's too short, says Sander. And also, long time since I was in your stream, says Yako, and glad to be back. So it is great to have you back as well. What you're doing next week? Next week we have got Australia versus Japan. We've got Bulls versus All Blacks as the 2 weekend fixtures. And then also in terms of the week, there is the Sharks versus All Blacks. That has taken place in only 3 days' time, I believe, is when that one's happening. So it's heading around very quickly. And I mentioned about it earlier on. Like, for everyone who thinks this Greatest Rivalry Tour is long, like, please enjoy it while we get it. Because it's going to be gone before we know it. In terms of, like, we're only 4 weeks away from the end of this Greatest Rivalry Tour. 5 weeks away at the moment, I believe. And then it's over straight away. And then we have to wait for the World Cup or the Nations Championship. Do you think Pollard will get some game time? I think it depends on Sasha's knee a little bit, or Sasha's most recent injuries as well. But I believe if Sasha's going well, Rasi will probably give him the full 80. And we might end up seeing Pollard into a reshuffled scenario, more than likely. Or they might actually put Sasha into 15, have Fassi come off for Andre Pollard. I think that's actually what I would do if the ideal scenario ends up happening with no one getting injured. But it's definitely, the Storm has found it out the hard way in terms of only having the 6-2 split. It can really backfire. And I'd say that they were the perfect example of a team that had it backfire worse than a lot of other sides have throughout recent times. But yeah, I do think that in this case, with the replacement forwards, you can see Marco van Staden and their Copus Visa. They're going to go aggressive later on in this contest and try and really run the Pumas off their feet. Creatine is good for sleep deprivation recovery. Says Sven there. We have got I hope your channel is growing as fast as that forehead. Thank you very much. Yeah. Forehead's getting bigger, I think. I'm almost at the stage. Well, I already was calling it a 5 head. I might have to look towards a 6 head now. But we'll see what happens. We have got do you think box kicking will be the theme of this game? I think there'll be a bit of kicking, but I don't know whether or not it will be completely box kicking. I actually believe, and this is going to backfire, but because of the way, oh my goodness, that was a big fend that they just had in Waikato versus Taranaki. But what was I saying? Because of the circumstance of this game, I think both sides will just go a little bit more free-flowing. It's considered an international friendly. Now, I don't think there'll be anything friendly about it when these two sides start playing each other. But yeah, I think you can afford to go for a few risks. Go for a few little trick plays and whatnot, similar to what we saw for South Africa up against the Barbars. Except Argentina will have a bit more structure, even with the amount of changes. They'll still have the foundation and the base. What's up, bro? It's been a long time since I've been in your stream, says Abel. Well, it is absolutely awesome to have you back, Abel. And Regan is here too. Hello again, Hamish. Welcome in. Do Argentina have any more games this summer? Or is it now their summer break? So for Argentina, in 30 days' time, or I believe it's now 28 days' time, they have got their contest up against I believe it's the Australians. 1 second, we'll go like that. There we go. Yeah, so that is their first match up against the Aussies, and they've actually got a 2-match series against the Australians that they'll be playing in, and then from there, the Nations Championship in November, where we will get to see all of the southern and northern sides go head-to-head yet again. That will be alongside the Nations Cup, which has taken place with the lower-ranked sides from that Rugby World Cup competition. But for the greatest, or sorry, not for the greatest rivalry, but for the Nations Championship, this is the way that the table currently sits. For anyone who is unfamiliar with how this competition works, what happens is you play 6 games up against everyone in the opposite pool. Then from there, the top-ranked side will go head-to-head with the top-ranked side of their other hemisphere. So, for instance, the way that it sits currently, if it was to remain this way, it would be South Africa versus France in the final of the Nations Championship. Then New Zealand would play Scotland, England would play Australia, and etc. You go down and you play the team who are your rank on the other hemisphere. So that is taking place in November. So plenty of exciting games just around the corner there. These are the matches for these two sides throughout November. Ireland versus Argentina will be the opening contest of the Nations Championship round 4. Italy and then France, the other two opposition for the Argentines. And you will notice that both South Africa and Argentina will be away from home. They were at home for the July stage of the Nations Championship. So now they head up north, and then the finals all taking place in the north up there as well. Italy, France, and Ireland, the three opposition for the South Africans. Now, I do think we're going to see a very different looking team for that match up against Italy, but France and Ireland, those are two big games to close out the calendar year for the Boks. But as we know, Rassi has got a way of managing game time very nicely. So there still should be a lot of fresh players heading into that final game. But I am about 5 minutes behind at the moment in terms of the chat, so I do apologise if I have missed any of the messages there. We have got there, hi Hamshay, everyone from Tanya, welcome in. Any score prediction for today? If Argentina are up for it, South Africa by 12. If Argentina aren't up for it, South Africa by 25 is roughly what I'm thinking. But it could actually be worse, depending on how quickly the South African side gels with all the injury returns. Good evening, Hamish, trust you all well. I'm doing very well. Very excited for this contest, which is only sitting around 30 minutes away. Do you think the All Blacks have got heaps of work to do? Storm has crossed the line a few times, even if the tries were not allowed, says Memento. I do think that the All Blacks' defence was the thing that they'd be a little bit concerned about. But to be fair, there's actually a couple more things they should be more concerned about, discipline being one. But I would say, is there heaps of work to do? Yes, for that side, but that's also not the team that we're going to see play in the test matches. I think that maximum 5 to 10 of those players will get test match minutes. Unless there are injuries, then those guys will get added back in. Now, as everyone says, Philip, welcome in. Tell you what, the chat, like I said, was absolutely flying, and it still is. All Blacks weren't that impressive yesterday, having to play 3 more club games with a small squad only to then begin the real challenge. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, we're going to see a bit of rotation, I believe. And I do think that up against the Sharks, that is when we're going to see New Zealand's strongest lineup. That will be their warm-up game, unless, of course, they once again go experimental against the Sharks and then chuck a stronger lineup against the Bulls. Keep growing, their beard looks good, says Byron there. And I just think the Stormers were unlucky in that regard. Teams really have 3 scrum halves in their 23, so a 6-2 split isn't to blame, says Gotsia. Well, yeah, like you said, the 2 halfback injuries made it very unlucky. But in general, 2 injuries to your backs with a 6-2 split puts you in a little bit of trouble. And there was actually, was it last week or the week before, we actually saw a 6-2 split backfire as well. It can happen just with the injury count that does sometimes take place. You can sometimes see a forward having to play in the back line just to try and balance it out. But yeah, I don't think that Ciabello Sinatla did too badly from the 9 jersey. It's just he was doing so much better when he was out on the wing. Go the Box, says Philip with the donation. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for your generosity there. Bockies by 15, says Ronnie. And good morning and thank you, Hamish, says Dan. No worries at all. We are only the 30 minutes, like I said, away from the kickoff of this contest taking place in Argentina in front of what will be a passionate crowd as Argentina sneaky win by 2, says Aaron and Zed for the prediction. And we have got there 49-21 Boks win is a normal score, but I want to see 63-19 for the Boks. Or if Argentina plays well, the Boks will win 15 plus. If they play bad, Boks win 30 plus. And South Africa by 50, says Saku there. And South Africa by 57, says Martin. So some people are going with some very strong big scoreline. Ireland with the -1 points differential. Didn't someone say they're the best in the world? Says WP. There is that rivalry, isn't there, between the Irish and the South Africans. In fact, there's a rivalry between South Africa and pretty much every other international side, it seems. But yeah, there's some bad blood in the international game. I just think back to that England versus Argentina match that we witnessed only a few weeks ago. That game was tension-filled. Now, it didn't help that both sides had just played in the Football World Cup, so I think that was where the emotions were running a little bit hotter than they normally would be. But yeah, it's got to a stage now in international rugby that social media is a pretty tricky one to navigate, because you get the ones who are the respectful supporters and the ones who just love the game, and then you get the ones who just like to try and fire people up. And I think that that's what people see rather than the support for the sides too. Boks only one true rival is that All Blacks team, says Hunter. And also, I know it's early your side, but it's Bry going your side with Borivos. I actually saw something Bry related. Oh, yeah, it was like Bry. I don't know whether or not this is going to offend South Africans, but it was Bry patties, like meat patties. I think that's what you guys call them as well. Like what you put in a burger, right? That's a patty globally, isn't it? It just sounds a bit weird with a Kiwi accent, but yeah, it was a meat patty, and they were called like Bry something, but they didn't have meat in them. So that was the part of it that I thought might rub a few South Africans the wrong way. Of course, some of you guys are on biltong and all sorts from the early age in terms of like the meat side of things. And beef patty, says Ruth. Undercovers with some Scottish. And how much time until the game starts? The game is starting at around 28 minutes time. And yes, what you said is highly offending me. Says Xander there. And also good luck, everyone. Let's hope it's a close game, says Ruth. And what we will also do while we are at it, ladies and gents, is we will show you the benches as they will play a pivotal role in this match. Like I mentioned, the 6-2 split for the South Africans in this game with Jan Hendrik Wessels, Gerald Stennekamp, and Zachary Porfin as the front rowers. Ben Jason Dixon slots in at 19 with Kobus Visser and Marco van Staden as the 20 and 21. Morne van den Berg comes back from a relatively long injury layoff. Now, the halfback side of things for the South Africans is a little bit undecided, I believe. At the moment, we haven't been seeing Grant Williams. Reinach is getting older, but I think he's still got enough in his tank to be able to play in that next World Cup. You've also, at the moment, Jaden Hendricks is out the door. We haven't really seen him in recent times. There is also now Van den Berg back. Hasim Peed as a youngster who could be making his way up through the ranks. I feel like I'm missing like 2 or 3 halfbacks for South Africa, but that is just because of absolutely how many options that they have got at the moment. As I said, Rassi has got that depth going nicely, and he'll be hoping to use it all throughout the next 12 months. Andre Pollard is that number 23 to be able to come off the bench. He will be a safe kicking option. A lot of people focusing on the kicking team for this contest with Sasha. We'll see whether or not he can slot them over or whether they find a way of balancing it out with Cheslin Colby in the lineup as the kicking option. But Argentina, they've got Oviedo Vivas and also Rapetti as the front row replacements. Elias and also Pinochos as that number 20. Scalzo at 21. Moyano and Matthias Maroni as the number 22. So once again, a lot less well-known in terms of some of these Argentine players compared to the guys that we would normally see, like a Crema, who is normally in the equation, like Joaquin Oviedo, who's been in some absolutely incredible form throughout this year. But having Maroni off the bench, I think is going to be pretty handy for this Argentine team. We have got there also, where did it go? Like a vegan patty? Yeah, for the Bry. So I don't know whether or not that's like considered blasphemy in South Africa or whether that is all right. Patties for the burger. Real Bry does not include patties, but chopped steak and sausages and Borivos, says Hillberry. And where can we watch the full replay for free in New Zealand? I'm not sure where the replay will be. I'd like to think they'll put it somewhere, though. What's your view? The Box lose this game today. I don't think it would be that bad. Oh, I'm still off to the side. Hang on, we'll centralise. There we go. We're back in the middle. But yeah, it's not the end of the world, I don't believe, if South Africa lose this game. Of course, it would be unfortunate. And, you know, like online people would be giving them stick. But at the end of the day, the reality is, Rassi has said it himself too. If they lose a couple games along the way to the World Cup to put it in the cabinet, they'll be happy enough. They've got a lot of guys coming back from injury. It's a bit of an unknown Argentine side in certain positions. And you just never know what's going to happen when the passionate Argentines get out there on the park. So, you know, for them to lose this game, South Africa, it would be a surprise. But also, it's not like we need to panic, we need to sack Rassi situation. It's just you know what? Argentina played a good game of rugby, and they move on to 2 weeks' time. Grant and Reinach are top 2. You don't mention Papia or Herschel. Yeah, they are. To be fair, Herschel Yankee's back in the equation, is he? And then Ambros Papia, I don't know what's happening with him, seeing as Rassi pretty much took him out of the side. But I'd like to think he gets some sort of game time in the future. That man's acceleration is absolutely phenomenal. We see it week in, week out for the Bulls in the URC, and he actually proved it at international level as well. The Argentinians have already mastered Brian. If they started drinking brandy, then they would win the next World Cup, says John. And please, can we have South Africa and New Zealand be undefeated before we play, says Bruce. Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? If both sides go into the contest undefeated for the season, I think there's a chance. Well, no, to be fair, that first test match is before the Lions game, isn't it? So it should be fine. maybe, although there were a few shaky moments for the Kiwis in their most recent game. It's been a long time since I've been in your stream. I haven't watched you since last year. It's the first time this year, says Abel. So yeah, it is greatly appreciated you being back on the channel. We have got plenty more coming up this year with the Nations Championship. The Greatest Rivalry Tour, of course, is also going to be taking place. And we're going to be here for every step of the way. We have got there, yes, blast me for a patty on the braai. That is what Americans barbecue, says Hillberry. Will they sack Rassi if they lose? They'd be absolute idiots to sack Rassi at this point in time. Like, that's the thing is, right, that game last year, remember South Africa versus Australia, how they had a massive lead, they then lost that lead and lost that game. And there were people calling for Rassi to go. But the thing is, I think that if they gave up Rassi, the good news is there's got to be something in his contract saying he can't coach another international side. And I don't actually think he'd want to coach another international team if they did. Like, they're just not going to get rid of him. I think that the smartest thing they can do is keep on writing that man's paychecks, and he will probably keep on putting trophies in the cabinet for them. Although Hamish has just woken up as the game started. Not yet. We are sitting currently around 23 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest, so it is getting extremely close. Argentina reminds me a lot of France. Never quite sure which version is going to show up. Could lose or win by 60. Yeah, exactly right. They can either go out there and look like a house on fire, which is just absolutely going for it, or they can be on the other side of the equation and seem like they aren't actually playing, or they aren't focused in the game. And I think that's the tricky part in terms of finding some sort of consistency by that World Cup if you're Argentina, but it is easier said than done. Rassi is the man. Says Nishi there. And also they need to pay Rassi whatever he wants. Says Hunter. And if Rassi goes there, there will be huge protests in South Africa. Says Hilberry. Yeah, I think the only way that it happens peacefully is if Rassi himself says that he's done. And even then it might be a little bit met with some hostility, but yeah, that man has done a lot for South African rugby. And it's much more than just 2 World Cups. Like on paper, from the outside, you could go, yes, they were able to put the back-to-back World Championship motto or the title to their name, but throughout the time, you look at South Africa's squad at the moment, how many players have they now got available? I think that was something that's, once again, this is going to get me in trouble, this statement, but the fact that we saw New Zealand, they have the players somewhat, but they just don't seem to have the same amount of game time as some of those guys under Rassi. And because of that, it means that if there are injuries for New Zealand, that can cause a lot of problems. We have good evening, Hamish. Great to see you. I hope you're well. Says Judy, Lecca Hamish. Good to be back on your channel. Go to the box. Says Matthew. A nice haircut. Says Mark. I haven't actually had a haircut in a long time. I don't think I've had one in about 4 months. But I did get a lot of people on about 3 videos ago going, I like the new haircut. So I don't know what's happened with my hair. I think it just sits in a different way and it maybe looks like it's cut. But yeah, it definitely needs a bit of trimming, I believe. And well, when Rassi goes, Tony Brown can take over. Although it seems like Tony's heading to Kiwi land. He's going to be assistant coach for New Zealand in the near future, I believe, after that World Cup. And Rassi's tenure, Argentina are the team to have given them the biggest loss. Says Gotsia there. Rassi isn't the greatest coach of all time. It's Steve Hansen. Says Josiah. And if you win the comp to have a braai with Rassi, what would you take? Vegan patties? Maybe no way. I think I would take some borrevos if I could find them, because they're normally terrible at finding things in a supermarket. I think you got to have some sort of. Do you guys call them chops in South Africa, or is that just a Kiwi term? Like some. What are they? What would they be? Like loin chops? I still use the word chops. Like cuts of meat that are normally on like a rack that you've chopped up. That's called chops here. I don't know if it's chops in South Africa. Haircut, as we say here in Ireland. Did you get your ears get the ears lowered? Says Rugby Jackal. That's a term I haven't heard in like 15 years. I do like it though, to be fair. Rassi hasn't just been great for South Africa rugby. He's been great for world rugby too, says Kirsten. Yeah, he's certainly kept them on their toes throughout the last couple of years. I see that Moong is on standby for South Africa. Would you pick him, Hamish? I think at the moment, Josh Jacob has proven that he should at least be given a little bit of a chance, but I don't think that Beauden Barrett is going to be as influential on this tour as Rennie wanted in terms of on the field. I think off the field, Beauden Barrett, by the sounds of it, has been training about as hard as he ever has. He's trying to get into that massive shape or trying to get into the best shape to have the best chance in those tests. But yeah, I think the reality is he may not make the next World Cup, and I think that's when we see Moonga make his way in. Someone who's doing nicely, though, just while we are talking about fly halves, Reves Rehana, good game for Northland over the weekend in the NPC. A lot of young teens trying to put their name in the equation. I think that's the same for South Africa. We've seen there Joaquin Ahmed having a great game up against New Zealand. And then Vusi Moyo, someone who is also in the equation. Like, there's so many guys. He's actually playing for the Sharks over the weekend or in the midweek game. And we have got their Chops. Yes, we call them Chops. Okay. And also Chops in Afrikaans, says Christo. And hello, Hamish says, Luke, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. And pork chops, I can confirm that we have them in the Republic. And I think chops are a universal term. Says Kirsten, I have to be a little bit careful with some of the things that I know are sayings or like things are called in New Zealand because, I can't think of what it was, but something that's a term that's like normal in New Zealand is like a swear word up north. So I have to be very careful with certain things. Not chops, rack of ribs, Hamish. Says 63 Sunset and Rassi was great in Munster. When Axel died, not to bring the mood down, lads, we have big love for Rassi and Ireland. Believe it or not, South Africa going to win by 25. Says Rugby Jackal. So you go on same prediction as myself, rack of ribs. Says 6-3. And Vusi Moyo is going to be the next big thing, says Hunter. And we call sideburns locks. Says Rugby Jackal there too. But we are about to see a couple of locks in action that we haven't seen for quite some time. Ludiacha as well as Eben Etzebeth. Now, Etzebeth was supposed to be returning in the July Internationals alongside Sia Kolisi. But unfortunately, both men actually ruled out late from that first matchup. Eben has been dealing with concussion problems for the last few months, but it's really been the last few years. He was one big head knock away from retirement. He had another head knock and then decided not to retire. So I hope for his sake, he just gets through the next little while without any sort of significant knock. But honestly, if he gets a head knock or a concussion here, this could be the end of Eben Etzebeth's career, which is such a... Like, how long has he been in that box environment? It feels like ages. I remember back when he was playing up against the likes of Brodie Retallick. I remember one game, only because I remember it was one of my friends' mums was saying how impressive he was when he got his shirt ripped. That was way back in the day too, wasn't it? My favourite live commentator. I appreciate all the hard work. Go the Bok. Says Renier there, and greatly appreciated for the kind words. We are going to be here all throughout the Nations Championship as well as this Greatest Rivalry Tour. Hi, says Yandre. Welcome in. Hi, Hamish, says Jux. In there too. Go the Springboks, go Sasha FM. And guys in New Zealand get together in one person's home and make their own bori. Says Michelle. And are there any changes for the box? Not at this stage. Not that I've heard of anyway. I'd assume that there will be the same 23. And Joaquin Ahmed is more likely to be the next big thing over Vusi and Moyo. Says Marcus. Well, yeah, Vusi Moyo goal-kicking-wise is phenomenal. But I think that Ahmed has been showing that he can do it as well. And he's also got some very nicely weighted kicks. We've seen it develop throughout his under-20s game. But yeah, I think that South Africa, once again, are blessed for the future talent that is coming up through the rankings. Who else noticed the modest, yet brilliant, seamlessly segue into locks into the engine room, or of the engine room variety, says Rugby Jackal there. And watch out for Lavanini. Yeah, he has been at the Highlanders throughout the Super Rugby season. Didn't get a massive amount of game time. Actually started off playing for the secondary Highlanders team, but he is a little bit of a hothead, I think is the way you could describe him. Him and Marcos Crema must go to the same anger management class, but yeah, it won't take much to annoy him in this scenario too. And I agree, Ahmed is the future. Good to see you not sick tonight. Says Dion there. Yeah, that would be the worst thing throughout this Greatest Rivalry Tour if I picked up some sort of bug, but hopefully we are all good to go throughout the whole competition, touch wood. And Bullabro says Asala, welcome in. I thought Honeycomb was bad in the URC final. Do you think he is overrated? I don't think he's overrated. I think he's just still finding his feet after a long, extensive injury. Because before that injury, he was absolutely phenomenal. And he was kind of rumoured as that next big thing for the loose forwards. But I think it would take a bit of time. I'm thinking by the time he's had 5 or so games under his belt at international level again since that injury, Honeycomb, I think he'll be good. And I actually think he'll be pretty good in this game too, going head-to-head up against Joaquim Moro. Why is Quaka not on the bench? Injured at the moment, Quaka Smith, unfortunately. He is one of those guys that more than likely will miss at least some of the Greatest Rivalry Tour, if not all. South Africa has an incredible team. I don't see any weaknesses, just strength everywhere, says Iron Lion. Yeah, the fact that some of these guys are regarded as the third choice in their positions and a lineup can still look this good, like that tells you exactly what Rassi has been doing throughout the last couple of years. He's been finding a way to create not just one great side, but about 2 or 3. Good luck, Argentina, get the job done and embarrass the Springbok team so they can be quieted down, says Josiah. A record win for South Africa coming up, says Mike. Do you know what their record win is up against the Argentines by any chance? Do you know roughly what kind of margin they have to look for here? I want to see Sasha Feinberg radio or Sasha FM radio hit the high lines, says Sharks. Of course, the Sharks are going to get a big hiding by the All Blacks. It's Sharks Curry Cup team. Mostly the Stormers had the best team and they blew it, says Melissa. Yeah, because I'm curious to see what the Bulls will look like. Because... I'll ask this question. Yes or no, ladies and gentlemen? Will Rassi release players from the Springbok side or the Springbok squad to play for the Bulls? Or do you think he'll keep them in the environment and keep them fresh? Like, I could easily see him letting an Eldrick Lowe or a Cameron Honeycomb, a Johan Krobela, someone like that playing in the game up against the All Blacks, getting a little bit of inside knowledge. Kanan Moody, maybe, depending on where they see him in terms of those test matches. We have got there the lads will need to call Maradona back. And we have got there no, says Sean. And Krobela, says Ruth, is someone who they might let play. Eben playing. I thought he was also injured. So he was originally. I would say that more than likely, like, he will be playing some of those tests. And why I see her playing, I think it's just to get him some minutes under his belt before jumping into the first test. More than likely, he is going to be the captain and playing as the number 6. Doubt it. Only people re-released like Papier, says Gutsia. Yeah, to be fair, he did kind of really shrink down the tour, didn't he, in terms of the size of the squad. Plus, they would have to get back within about 5 days or so to be fully named, so they'd have to train too. So, yeah, it might be too much of a stretch to see those men back. Then the Springboks beat Argentina 73-13. In South Africa, from what I remember, I'm not too sure. Says Josiah, I'm not too sure either. 38-point margin for the new record versus Argentina. Says Mike, and Papier is back at the ball. But isn't the All Blacks given their E side against the Sharks? I think it's actually going to be close to, unless of course they do a little bit of a different plan, New Zealand. I could see them going with the stronger team up against the Sharks and then going with a bit of a makeshift against the Bulls. Just so that they still have someone fresh or a lot of their players fresh, although it is a long time between the Bulls game and the first test match. It's 7 days, so you can afford to rotate a little bit. Do you think Pollard's waning? No, not at all. I think that Andre Pollard, throughout the URC season, nowhere near his best in terms of those later matches, and I think he knew that as well. He would have loved to be a little bit better, but Andre Pollard is still that guy that if you are sitting in the 79th minute of a game of rugby and you are down by 2 points and the kick would be what wins you that contest or wins you a trophy, Andre Pollard's that guy you want stepping up to the plate. That's some valid points. Really like your consistency. Keep going. Says Bossy in there too. Does this game count as the greatest rivalry game? No. So it's considered an international friendly, but like I mentioned earlier on, there will be nothing friendly about this game when these two sides go head-to-head. No, I don't think Rassi will be releasing any players to play for the Bulls, although I think they do have other players they keep for that game. Says Dion there, and Sasha's performance the most important thing in this match, win or lose. Yeah, he has to get through this game without any sort of injuries. That is the big one for Sasha. If he can do that and avoid the injury side of things, he's going to be a key player. But the thing is, there are so many key players, right, for the South African team in terms of that 10 jersey. I think that Mani Libok still has a place in terms of what we could see for the Greatest Rivalry Tour. I think that Andre Pollard, depending on the tactics, could be in there. Ahmed might even get himself a run due to how well he played up against the All Blacks for the Stormers. His kicking might be the thing that just creeps him into that side that little bit more. And we've got the Argentina only step up against the All Blacks, then they're back to playing rubbish against everyone else. You know, I remember a few years ago when the Argentines, although to be fair, they beat every side once in the Rugby Championship. Was it last year or the year prior? They managed to go 1-1. But they had that patch, I want to say this is like 2000 and, I don't even know what it would be, probably 2020, somewhere around there, maybe even earlier than that. But they'd go out and play the All Blacks and they'd fire up and they were phenomenal, just narrowly lose. And then they'd face Australia, who was struggling. and then they'd just let Australia win. And that's that consistency that we've talked about for Argentina that they have struggled with for quite some time. I was at the URC final. It must have been Pollard's worst day. I agree, he's okay, just had an average year. Says Rugby Jackal. But yeah, a lot of guys, I mean, you look at the Sharks. Again, I'm sorry to the Sharks supporters for using this as an example. But you look at what the Sharks do in the URC, and you look at certain players for the Sharks who look bang average in the Sharks setup, but you chuck them in the green and gold. You let them represent their country. They become a different beast. And Pollard is one of those players. You know, Bulls for Andre Pollard, don't get me wrong, he probably cares a little bit. But if you asked Andre Pollard, what game are you more focused on? Or what game do you have more emotion invested into? One for the Springboks or one for the Bulls? It's night and day. It's Springboks every day of the week, probably 10 times as much for the Springboks too. So, yeah, I don't think URC form always tells the story. Definitely not for the guys who wear that Springbok kit. Some of them, like I said, normally in the URC, they'll do all right. But then they put on green and gold and they just become insane. And I would put Honeycomb and Cotton Wolf for 2027. Marty Libok and Grant Williams is the best halfback combination in my opinion. Is Krill being rested? Correct. Yes, he will be playing that first test more than likely up against New Zealand. Evening again, Hamish and others. Send the kids to bed. Time for some serious rugby. Yeah, well, that's the thing. A little bit of a late kickoff for you guys in South Africa, isn't it? 9 p.m. start for the matchup. You think Ruz will be part of this box team? I actually don't think so. Don't get me wrong, Evan Ruz has so many accolades or so many little skills that he can offer in a game, but he also has many that do then knock that skill down a little bit in terms of the penalty count, the handling, let him down a little bit up against the All Blacks too, but he's at least had game time against the AB, so maybe Russie has that as something that they lean on. Different gravy when you put on the international shirt. Says a Rugby Jackal, and my Sharks team, or my poor Sharks, got their logo changed this week now, getting roasted by Hamish. And also we have got there, I love your coverage as always. It's a Bok fan, don't understand the hate Bodie gets after a massive contribution he has made to the black jersey. Yeah, I think that Beauden Barrett, it's the same as Leonard Brown, as Rieko Ioane. It was the same as Sam Cane when they get near the end of their career. People turn their backs on the guys who have done a lot for New Zealand rugby as a whole. Like Beauden Barrett's been around for an extremely long time. And I think that he's still on his given day can be a phenomenal 10. But it's when you get those young guys who are coming through the ranks that people want to see that don't get the chances. That's where like people seem to have the whole turn on the older guard and try and get the new guard in. And it is pretty brutal. Like being an international rugby player in general is absolutely brutal. Not just for the action out there on the field, but the words you hear off it too. The Hurricanes winger combo is deadly. I think Leroy Carter will play any games at 9 this tour. I think we might see him as a replacement 9, but I also do think he did extremely well from that number 14 jersey. So I would like to see him remain on the wing. But at the same time, test match-wise, if there's any sort of injuries, they may look towards him. But Kyle Preston, I think, also needs a lot more game time. Hooker at 11, a question mark for you. Not really. I think that Ethan Hooker has done enough in the international kit to earn his minutes that he is receiving. He's still that debate sometimes for people, whether he's a centre or a winger, but I think that he's definitely dangerous in both. And in terms of Russie's long-term plan, I believe that having Ethan Hooker on the wing seems to be the more likely. We got there Kyle Julius as well. And 3 a.m. China, my favourite time for rugby. I feel like if Beauden was under Russie's coaching, he could be great. Says Stephanie. I'm trying to work out. I guess if Russie went to club rugby afterwards and ended up in Japan coaching or something like that, that technically could still happen. But yeah, I do think there are many players in the world that would benefit from a bit of Russie coaching. Even just like the thing that I like about what we're seeing from Dave Rennie at the moment is it seems to be quite similar to what we're seeing for South Africa, how there's good team morale at the moment. And it just seems like they're holding themselves at a higher standard on and off the field. Now, on the field, it's been a bit shaky. Don't get me wrong, of course, with some of the performances. But off the field, there's almost that old school, like, I don't know, something that's building in terms of, like, just the respect of the players and everything along those lines, the way that they hold themselves. And that's the same as what we're seeing for South Africa for a long time in terms of those guys. As soon as they put on that green and gold, like, training jacket, there's just something about them that seems to take them to that next level in terms of mentally and physically. So, yeah, it would be very interesting to see. But I don't know whether Bowden's ever going to end up in that scenario. I think Bowden could end up coaching. Who knows where he ends up if that is the case. And what time does Australia play this morning? They have already played up against the Japanese. I won't give you the spoiler for that contest just so that you can, I guess, keep it as a surprise when you go for it. And we have got there. Also, I usually support the underdog against South Africa. But after the way Argentina played at the Football World Cup, I hope the Boks give them a proper walloping. Says Kidney Beans. And also AB's Rugby need to give Fiki Finianofo a shot. Came off the bench against France. He had 2 carries, a bit like 3 or 4 defenders. We don't know what beast we are. What beast we're not giving a chance yet. Yeah, although he did have the injury, which is why he wasn't receiving other opportunities after that point. And the Boomers are ready to smack the Boks. Says Kevin, and Bowden Barrett is a very classy gentleman. As a Boks fan, I really admire him. He's a true sportsman. Says Leon there. Just realised we are 5 minutes away from the kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. They haven't actually started the coverage here in New Zealand. They have got 2 different channels that they say are showing Argentina versus South Africa, and neither of them actually have got the game as of yet. So that's a bit of a concern, but we will keep an eye on it, and hopefully one of the 2 does fire up in the near future. They're showing highlights of Stormers versus New Zealand in both of them, but I would say someone's got to press a button very soon, and then we will be underway. Hopefully, anyway, that would be the ideal scenario. And we have got there, what time does Australia? Oh no, I read that one about the Aussies, didn't I? And just remember the Bok are suffering from massive jet lag. We can't expect them to play their best. Says Xander, and also we've got there what we call the hiding, says Dawn. And I just want to see a good game. Yes, I want the Boks to win, but I just want to see a good free-flowing game. And Sandsports looks to be showing the field now. Says the Mike Turner. It might also be, actually, to be fair, it might be a 10-minute later kickoff than we normally see. That seems to happen quite a bit with the games happening in either Argentina or Australia. They are at 78 minutes through the All Black Stormers highlights, and then I think they'll fire it up. The players will be very close to starting this matchup. Just looking through at the starting lineups while we're at Argentina, it is Boris Wenger alongside Inacio Ruiz and Francisco Moreno as the number 3. Guido Pitti alongside Thomas Lavanini as the number 5. A lot of physicality and aggression out of that locking duo. Pablo Matera, the captain at 6, with Benjamin Grondona and Joaquin Omoro as that number 8 option. Simon Benitez Cruz alongside Santiago Herreras. That is due to Albanoz's long ban that he has recently received. Ignacio Mendy out on the left wing. In the midfield, it is Faustino, Sanchez Valarolo, and Lucio Cinti. Rodrigo Isgro out on the right wing, and then Geronimo Prisciantelli as the number 15. For the South Africans, it is Boan Fenta, Johan Robala, and also Thomas Tatui up the front. That is a dangerous scrummaging trio. For the South Africans, they've got plenty of options at the moment, and it does seem to be no matter what they throw out there, it is able to get that one moving forward. Evan Etzebeth alongside Ludiacha as the 4 and 5. These are 2 men who have had very limited game time throughout recent times. Evan Etzebeth returning from concussion, Ludiacha returning from an injury that he had, earlier on in the year. Sia Kolisi also returning from injury at 6 with Eldrick Lowe and Cameron Honeycomb, couple of Wolves in that loose forward trio. Kobus Reinach and Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu, another injury return. That's the key word of the day at the moment for the South Africans. Ethan Hooker out on the left wing. Andre Esterhuizen and Kanan Moody make up the midfield with Edward van der Merwe out on the right and Apalili Fasi at number 15. We have got there. Hi Hamish, you're an awesome commentator. I'm surprised you are not being offered to do this as a profession. Says Sandy there. Thank you very much. And show us your world champion and let's see the Pumas defend with passion. I never back down, never cry for the refs, Argentina. Says Shane, and reckon Argentina has lost a lot of neutral support after their... Yeah, I've noticed recently, right, that it seems so many people... Argentina were their kind of second or third team, and it just seems like they've fully dropped down as a whole now. But the coverage is here in New Zealand now. I think I was actually back before it was live, so that was not ideal. But they are just showing the starting lineup. So I would say we're scheduled for a 10-minute delay in terms of the start of this contest. It's actually going to be a 7-10 kickoff between these 2 teams. And Yaki Nami played so well last night. He's being groomed for the future. It's Sasha time now, says Dion. And the fact that they have got Ahmed, the fact that Vusim Moyo is also another option in terms of young 10s that South Africa can actually use. I think we're past the Hendrickson era, to be honest. Put money thing up, bro, so lads can drop you a few dollars. Not me, I'm too mean. But the YouTube Diapora. And also we have got there Deborah in the chat. And also Simon has said so many players I'm happy to see in the squad tonight. If Lud gets to the end without an injury, consider it a test match won. Well, yeah, that's the thing. There was the injury crisis in the locking duo for quite a bit of time for the South Africans. We saw Eben Etzebeth out. We saw no Lud de Acha. We saw no Arge Snyman. Who else did they have on the shelf for a while? There were about 2 or 3 others. I believe Riley Norton also picked up that injury. There's another veteran. Oh, Franco Mostert. He was out with injury too. Like, it was getting pretty bad. Oh, you have to get Hamish, did you colour your beard? No, it's just kind of grown a little bit. And Diaspora, says Rugby Jacko at 9 p.m. in Baines Whiskey here in South Africa. Ready for a tough game. Let's keep an eye on them. Says Christo. Yeah, I think that this is going to be a very aggressive game between both sides. And I mentioned about how on paper it's considered international friendly, but no, not going to be happening. This is going to be aggressive. Looks like a beautiful afternoon for a game of rugby too, which is fantastic news. There's a little bit of free-flowingness, and I do think that both of these sides can use this as a little bit of a warm-up for what is to come. For the Argentines, they have got 2 matches against the Australians. For the South Africans, of course, they've got the Greatest Rivalry Tour, which is just around the corner from taking place. But I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming up in the near future. The Greatest Rivalry Tour, the Nations Championship, that is going to be coming to its conclusion later on in the year. That's all going to be covered on the channel too. The band is playing my favourite song, says Sven Number in there. And 3% draw voters are feeling froggy tonight. Well, that's the thing. The draw almost happened in the Australia versus Japan matchup. We were relatively close in that regard. But, yeah, it's been a little while since we've seen a draw. And so what's your prediction for the Kiwi boys? Or from the Kiwi boys? So for me, I've said if Argentina show up and play well, South Africa by 12. If Argentina don't show up and play badly, South Africa by around 25. I know Hamish Smartbeard says Carol Wan there, but Sio Kolisi just about to lead his side out of the changing sheds. Eben Etzebeth, Lud de Acha, 2 men who are recently back for this box side. Eben has said he's had time and time again where with the concussions he's considered retirement. Any sort of head knock here, I think that would become a true statement. So hopefully he can get through it because I know a lot of people want to see that man at the Rugby World Cup for next year. But in the loose forward trio, also Sio Kolisi will be returning. And, I mean, we talked about the 4-pack quite a bit. Andre Esterhuizen in the midfield, he is going to be an absolute battering ram in this game and a big test for Faustino Sanchez Valerolo. As it sold out, Hamish? It is not sold out. It does seem like there are a few empty seats around the place. And we have got the Argentinians' names sound like Italian food. You have to take a bottle of Clippies and a bottle of Coke. And hello from Holland, Springbok supporter. Says Kudu there. Welcome in. Pablo Matera about to lead his side out onto the field as well. I hope Farsi gets his form back. He hasn't been the best lately. Yeah, he's been struggling a little bit in those recent times, unfortunately, up in Lily Farsi. He is still a world-class player, and I know that it's that whole what have you done for me lately, and a lot of people have seen him have a couple of struggling games and gone, get rid of him, but the reality is Rassi backs him well and truly. They've got Damien Valimza, no Philly LaRue anymore, so they do need another fullback, but it's whether or not it's going to be Farsi or Kieran Horn as another guy. Sasha could go 15, although I like the distribution from Sasha in the number 10 jersey instead. Has the match started already? No. So it's actually a little bit of a later kickoff for this contest compared to when it was initially anticipated for. So it is going to be a 7:10 kickoff, which is a 9:10 p.m. kickoff for you guys. In South Africa, let's the games begin. Says Chante there, not yet, says Derek. So they are just now out on the field, ready for the national anthems for these two sides. Well, said stays, and it's going to be a battering ram in the midfield. Says Christo, hooker at 15. Says Sven. Has he played 15 throughout his... he's had a little bit... Or, in fact, Edwell van der Merwe, another guy you can look at 15. And straight away, people look at Edwell van der Merwe and say, but the height would be the problem. But that man wins more aerial challenges than most, just because of the way he's able to pounce up. Plus, Cheslin Colby has proven that you don't need to be absolutely massive to be able to win a high ball. Did you colour the beard? No, the beard's still the same as it was. It's just grown. We have got there, someone is going to cry, says Sven. And we have got there, I need my box fix, been going through withdrawal, says Neo. And the good news is, after this game, it is only going to be another 2 weeks until you see the side in action again. But the South African national anthem is about to be sung And we have the IAM says, does Vonde welcome in? I say the stadium is 85 to 90% full. Says Albert there, the Pumas are in danger, and don't be shy to wear your Bok jersey, says Leslie. And I wish for a competitive game, says Desvonde. Yeah, I think a lot of people are just hoping this game helps both of these sides moving forward. For the South Africans, of course, they want to get their best form and their best foot forward heading into those test matches against the All Blacks. And then for Argentina, they have got a couple important test matches up against the Australians in Argentina. They had the 2-1 record, 2 losses, 1 win for their July internationals. So to be able to get a clean sweep against the Aussies 2-0 would be quite the statement heading into the November internationals. I wish for a competitive game. And I just don't want the tour being spoiled by Kiwi pundits complaining about TMO and ref. It's been heavy going already, says Neo. Well, the refereeing was also heavy going in that first test match. I don't actually think that was completely out of the All Blacks' control, though. They gave away a lot of dumb penalties throughout that matchup. But yeah, it's one of those ones, it's not going to be the first game. Or in fact, no, it was the first game, but it's not going to be the last game of this tour regarding people complaining about refereeing decisions. And I also don't think it's just going to be the All Blacks who aren't feeling like they've had the rub of the green. But it's just rugby at the moment. I always say to it, I've been saying this recently anyway, the way that I look at refereeing decisions now is like handling errors. The players don't plan to have a mistake when they're out there on the park, and there is occasionally going to be a handling error from the referee. But you have to move on from that handling error and then be able to adapt. And because you've got 80 minutes. So there's plenty of time outside of one controversial call for you to still be able to win a game of rugby. We have got there, also nice to see Lud back in the mix. Yeah, Lud Diacha, he has been out for a while. He's had his fair share of injuries throughout recent times. We have got there Ronak, an important factor, thank heavens. We have the speed here. Going to be fast around the scrum, says Christo. Yeah, and the fact that Sasha is at 10 now, back from his injury, that is going to also add a lot when it comes to the South African speed factor. In the midfield, you've got Moody on the outside. Edward van der Merwe, quick as a cat. They were complaining before the game even began. It says people are hunting for complaints. They kind of are, but also some of them are fishing for engagement as well, which is something that unfortunately has become more and more of a reality. And nowadays, world of sport, is you try and get those headlines to try and get people to click, because people are very easy to rage bait, as the terminology goes. You just have to say something slightly controversial and they jump on you, they engage with everything. I haven't worked it out yet. I struggle because I also am not good at lying. So that hurts. We have got there, I really need Sia to hush up the haters. Says Mabulala there. And we have got there, this is part of the Nations Championship. No, this one is not, but the games in November are. And we have got there, South Africa will win this game 38 points to 7. And also the Pumas are not just going to lie there. The Bockies better be ready for the onslaught. 2 players I worry about, Sasha Feinberg and Zulu. And Fassi not in his best form, Bok by 12. Says Falanza there. How long before Lavanini gets his traditional yellow card? I don't think it will be too long whatsoever. Definitely if both of these sides are fired up and angry at each other, like I am anticipating, I think we're going to see some huge hits throughout the first 5 minutes. It's whether or not they're legal hits that could be the problem. And Sia was good in 2019, says Rugby Jackal. We also had some good moments throughout 2023 as well, I will say. Helped lead that Springboks side to yet again another World Cup. The Argentine national anthem is now just being sung. For anyone wondering, there was a little bit of a delay for the start of this contest. In fact, they may have always had the 7:10 scheduled kickoff, but yeah, they are just getting all sorted and ready to go for the start of this match. Do let me know who you guys think will score the first try of this contest. I am thinking it's going to be Edward van der Merwe, just because if that ball goes out wide, he seems to have the ability of beating the defenders down the wide channels. Wonder what the odds are on Lavanini to see yellow. I think they would be more likely than South Africa winning this game in terms of the odds. And South Africa were about $1.15 favourites. I think it might be a tighter game than you think, Hamish, says Byron. Well, I'm hopeful that Argentina are going to be mentally and physically in this game. But I just worry after that last match up against the English, there may be a little bit of a drop in the head for some of these Pumas players. There are a few new names in the mix, though, which is fantastic news, as that might be the motivation that they need to try and get themselves the starting kit, or at least off the bench in the near future. And first try, Cameron Honeycomb says Truth and Justice, and Ethan Hooker scores first try at 7 minutes, 14 seconds, calling it. Says Big Rig, that is very specific. So we'll star that and see whether or not it does end up being correct. How long, Andre? says Mojadin. Well, Andre Estesen playing from that number 12 jersey. Of course, they've also got Damien Dialindi as the other option. And in fact, they've probably got another one or two other options alongside that as well. I think Argentina will score first, says Cited. Do you think Lowe will make enough tackles as Peter Steph? It's a tricky one with Lowe because I feel like he's a very solid player and he does get around the park making a lot of tackles, but he isn't Peter Steph the toy, or at least he's not Peter Steph the toy yet. So a lot of time before he gets to that level. Johan Krobela, first try, let the record show. Says Xander and I, Hamish, the most popular brine meat is steak, boerewors, lamb chops, and chicken. And Sasha for the first try says Liza there, but the Argentine national anthem, they did do the whole instrumental before it, so we are still waiting another minute or so before this match gets underway. Although my second best New Zealand friend, it's a cool story. Honeycomb for the first try, says Ian. So quite a few people picking Cameron Honeycomb to be able to score himself the try in this matchup. Andre for the first try, says Mohadin. So because there's plenty of try-scoring threats in terms of this box. I don't think that's also the case with the Argentines, though. Santiago Herreras, it was not too long ago, I think about 2 or 3 years, that people were regarding him as one of the best attacking options for Argentina in terms of 10 or 15. He had extreme versatility, found himself out on the wing for a game as well. And Kata Moody to score the first try, says Leslie. And also, let's keep our feet on earth, says Mabalala. And I imagine the chat on the first New Zealand test. It's going to be interesting. It's either going to be really busy or really quiet due to the anticipation of their match. Kobus Reinach to score the first try, says Nicholas. And there too. But the national anthems have now been sung, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we are just about to start this game. Thomas the Toy straight over the line, first try, says Simon Barnes. It's always good seeing a big tight head prop make his way over the line, isn't it? In fact, a prop in general scoring is always quite impressive. Yes, Reinach to score, says Christo, and Apelefasi to score the first try. And Herreras, 3 drop goals in the first 15 minutes. And just check, lads, Cameron Honeycomb is currently listed as 8-1 odds. Score the first try tonight. So here's Rugby Jackal there too. But it is a great looking game at the moment in terms of Argentina for the weather side of things. I don't think we're going to get too many, well, at least we shouldn't have too many handling errors in this game. The anticipation is killing me. Says Chante there, watching from Soweto. Says Thulani. The referee in charge of this one will be Christoph Ridley, I should say. Ben Whitehouse as his TMO. And Pat from Mauritius, big fan of your channel, box by 25. It's quite a common scoreline, the box by 25. I actually went with that if Argentina don't end up doing too nicely. We have got there, Sasha gets the first try to show he is back. Says Memento. Yeah, a lot of eyes on Sasha Fainberg and Zulu here to see whether or not he is back to where he was before his injury. Although before his injury, he was going through a little bit of an up and down patch too, wasn't he? For the Stormers, go the Bok, says Sonia, but we have talked about it as well. When these players, they put on the green and gold, they become a whole different player. Now ready to go here, Santiago Herreras kicking this one off from left to right. Get us underway for this international friendly, as they call it. But I think we're going to see a big hit within the first minute, and then all of a sudden it's not going to be very friendly between these two sides. But Eldrick Lowe, big opportunity for him to show what he can do. Cameron Honeycomb the same. And Argentina, the countdown is finished. Santiago Herreras kicking it off from left to right. And we are underway for this contest that's down deep into the South African 22. Nicely claimed by Andre Esterhuizen. We haven't seen him play that hybrid role as of yet in 2026, but there is still potential that they could look at it in the future. Although with Honeycomb returning from injury, I feel like that filled a little bit of a gap that Andre Esterhuizen was playing. Reinach told to use it by Ridley inside of his 22. Does go down the middle of the field, taken round the halfway line by the Argentine, number 15, Geronimo Presiantelli. Argentina looking to shift this one away to the left-hand side. They need the early possession. As soon as South Africa score that first try, this game will either completely open up or completely... Well, that's a big shot from Cameron Honeycomb. It's a little bit too high, though, from the Springbok 8, and the penalty is awarded to the Pumas early on. Right now, they have the decision. Do they decide to go for the 3, or do you decide to go for the corner in this contest? Now, I believe because this is an international friendly, these sides cannot get rankings points. So if you're Argentina, you might as well go aggressive here. And I think that's the conversation that Pablo Matera is currently having with his side. It will be Santiago Herreras off of the kicking tee, although they have pointed at the posts. And that is the choice that Argentina have gone with. The question is, will you beat the Springboks with 3-pointers in a game where they have gone with quite an attacking-minded team? Probably not. We have you there. I'm back as the game started. It has indeed. We are currently sitting 2 minutes into this fixture. Feinberg is greedy and not the future. I like that young kid from the Stormers that played 10 against the All Blacks. So that would be Yachin Ahmed. And then they've also got as another young 10, Fusi Moyo, in the equation too. He is playing for the Sharks in the upcoming matchup. We have you there. Let's go Argentina, says Shane. And I was a great player though, says Rugby Jackal. And why wouldn't we just have the game count for 4 nations matches, says LB. Well, that's the thing. Everyone in the Rugby Championship all play each other. So they could have had like a mini Rugby Championship tournament. What do you mean this is a friendly? Says Dune Rugby. It is listed as an international friendly. So that is what I mean. We have there go the Pumas go. Says Josiah there. And Feinberg is a cut above the rest. But it's a nice strike from Santiago Jimenez. And he gets it down the middle of the post. So 2 minutes into this contest, Argentina taking the early lead 3-0. Making the most of the mistake made by the Springboks, discipline-wise, beat the Springboks team, says Josiah Timo, says Hensel there. The discipline going to be extremely important for both of these sides throughout the 80 minutes. Is this not a test match? Well, it doesn't go towards any World Rugby rankings points, I believe. So, yeah, it's regarded as outside of the international window per se. It's a bit of a weird one, but at the end of the day, these two sides, they are still the international team, so they will be playing like it is for points, but this one's going to be kicked from inside of the 22 by Simon Benitez Cruz down towards the halfway line, bounces into the hands of Sasha Feinberg and Zulu, testing out the legs after his recent injury, goes away to Edward van der Merwe, moving it on to Andre Hestays, but he has dropped the ball. I think he was looking at the option on the outside of Kane and Moody rather than looking towards what he was going to be able to do next. I guess provoke the box. So there's Chante there. We're only friendly off the field. Yeah, like I said multiple times, there's nothing friendly about these two sides going head to head. We've had some great battles throughout recent times. That's a head knock for Eben Etzebeth. He's back up on his feet, but he smacked the back of his head really hard on the grass. I've mentioned it time and time again. If Eben gets another concussion, I believe he's going to retire. And that was almost it just then. We're only short or only early in this contest too. So Rassi will not want the early injury there. Big wide cutout pass attempted by Argentina by Presiantelli, but he's thrown it into touch. So now South Africa will have themselves the line-out opportunity. And I knock on, drop ball. Shay maybe he's better. Says Josiah, I wouldn't guarantee that. We're still early on in the game. South Africa haven't given away 16 penalties yet. I'm blaming the ref for this 3-0 deficit. Says Xander. And Friendly Fire says now, and also go Argentina, All Blacks world number 1. And we have got there, it's dangerous for Eben, says Ruth. Yeah. Average heights, 1.97 metre for the South Africans. In terms of their locks today, 1.93 metre for the Argentines. Johan Grobela throws it into Ludiacha. It's great to see that man back in the international kit. He could be one of the players that they look towards for experience, heading towards that Rugby World Cup. Now looking to get this rolling ball going. It's actually Cobus Reinach who's holding on to it at the back. Breaks away, goes to the left-hand side to Andre Estes, and now Reinach again goes up to Sasha Feinberg. Ngumea Zulu almost broke through the tackle attempt of Sanchez Valerolo, but the ball stolen by Argentina initially, but then the penalty awarded to South Africa. We have it there. Hamish is a Springbok fan. Says, Josiah, I'm a fan of most teams in international rugby, to be fair. And we have it there, so they did score first. Our predictions on points so far, says Sighton. It looks like South Africa also opting towards the 3-point option. And we have got there, damn strong maul stop, says Simon Barnes, and also Eben is living tissue over metal endoskeleton. I need your boots and your motorcycle, and Feinberg is the best in the world, says Leslie. Amazing how much face has changed in 10 hours. You had no facial hair last night? No, surely I did. Maybe you were watching an old live stream. I don't think my beard magically grew in the last 7 hours or so. It's okay, Pumas, don't give away another penalty, says Josiah. And the lad is a Terminator, says Rugby Jackal, and going for the post in 2026. Disgusting, to be honest, says Gutsia. Sasha now to add his early 3. This will make the scores level after the first 6 minutes. It is straight out in front, 22 metres from the try line, so safe as houses for Sasha there. And 3-3 now between the teams. We have got Sasha from Sonia, and lucky penalty for the box. Says Ian, and Sasha's amazing, always attacking. Yeah, I think that is something that, looking at this lineup, we are going to see a lot of from actually both sides, because Santiago Jimenez is quite an attacking-minded first 5 too. And then Presiantelli has already shown that he's willing to take on the line, so that's great news for Los Pumas. And Angrabaka, dare you Pumas, Says Chante, and what do you think, or who do you think will win the greatest rivalry, Hamish? I think rugby would benefit a lot more from a 2-all series, but at the same time, I think that 3-1's not unrealistic. A normal stream Premier Sport has no commentary, so this is great. Just need to time it right. So currently for me on the clock, it is 6 minutes, 50 seconds. So hopefully that does help, although they did just take the scoreboard away. Why didn't Argentina come to South Africa? Says, cool story. I'm not actually too sure about the logic behind it. I think it is to help Argentina because of the fact that they don't get a rugby championship. So I believe all the sides have decided to go to Argentina. Well, the two sides being South Africa and Australia. And go the Pumas go, says Josiah. And sloppy hands here, says Nietz. Yeah, a few early handling errors from both of the sides currently. But it is going to be the Argentines who have got themselves the scrum feed, sitting about 35 metres out from the opposition line. Hamish is a closet box supporter, says Leslie. Well, that's the thing. I feel like people get mad if you like more than one international side. That's a penalty going the way of Argentina. But Thomas Tatoy, the man penalised. That doesn't happen too often in terms of the scrums. Only fair. We head over for a game given the tour. And also Argentina played at Marbella Stadium last year against the Box. Says Powerhouse, and Henry Cavill played in school here in Ireland. Fair to say he was less of a Superman on the rugby pitch. And also, because they played us last year, says Powerhouse. Now ready for the line out for the Argentines. It will be Inacio Ruiz. One sitting only about 15 metres out from the line, so going a bit more aggressive this time with the Argentinian tactics. He's taking another 3-pointer, Pumas. Says Josiah, and geez, Moreno's form is good. Says Simon Barn in there too. Now Ruiz. Thrown in, taken at the front by Thomas Lavanini. Moving it away to the left-hand side. We're already 8 minutes through this contest. Big carry from Pablo Matera, the captain. Simon Benitez Cruz away to the left-hand side yet again. Moving it on nicely with some quick hands from the Argentines. Almost turned into a rolling maul, but the offload away. Benjamin Grondona has scored the first try of the contest. And Argentina have extended their lead or got their lead back by the 5 points. Right, Argentina says, call me short. And also, hi Hamish, it's 9:20 p.m. starting later than expected, says Sandy. Yeah, they did wait an extra 10 minutes before starting this contest, but Argentina have started this one with a bang within the first 10 minutes. What do you think of Simon Cruz, Hamish? I think he's a solid player. I know that there have been other Argentinian halfbacks that get a lot of the attention, but Simon Benitez Cruz, for me, he's very solid. I try to talk now, Springboks fans, says Josiah. Greatest Rivalry Tour makes me wonder what the lamest rivalry tour would be, Poland versus Mexico. Says Big Rig. But nice finish there from the Argentines. And they are now on the board. Well, on the board again. First try. So South Africans getting hammered. Says Matthias, and huge fans here. Our whole family are in tears, Hamish. Is what they say true? Are you a closet fan of other sides? I'll break it to the family slowly. There goes the weekend, says Rugby Jackal. And also we have got there, good try, Argentina up for it. Says Ian and Boo, I thought the Box would score. Says Big Rig, and Mexico had a good scrum, which us South Africans appreciate. I thought World Rugby Channel was going to stream this. Yeah, I think it was initially scheduled, but then there was also another one that they had, I think it was Australia, Japan was supposed to be shown and then wasn't. We have got there, looks like the shot clock went down, unless it stops at the beginning of the kick. And ranking changed already, Box down to 2, dropped 2 points. Although I don't think ranking points are on the line here, are they? That was a take in the air. Nicely done by Guido Petty. Currently 10 minutes though through this contest, and Argentina well and truly up for the challenge here. The fact that they do lead by the 7 little chip attempted in behind, and it's going to sit up nicely for the Argentines. Well picked up to the halfway line. Now moving away to the left-hand side. Simon Benitez Cruz with the skip pass. One more pass on the outside. Now finding the hands of the exciting winger and Inacio Mendy. They move to 40 metres out. A quick fire start here for Argentina, and they're looking to keep the tempo going. Cross kick attempted. Running it out wide, but it goes straight to the hands of Sasha Fainberg. Ngume Zulu will go for the kick in behind, looking for his 50-22. Might have got a bit too much on the kick as that ball keeps rolling, but it will stop in the in-goal area. No rankings in a friendly. I think, although I don't consider a test match a friendly. Says LB there. A bit of obstruction there. Says Nets. It looked a little bit that way off the kickoff, I assume we're talking about, right? But Argentina just forcing that ball down inside of their in-goal area. And as Lavanini lock with a blue-eyed stare, Lavanini is the one who normally gets the yellows. And there is Long way to go in this game, so plenty of time for that to still become a reality. But yes, I want to say he's been working on his discipline, but he still does love a good card. Nice take from Sasha near the sideline. Now sitting about 25 metres out from the line for the Springboks. Some early possession. Kobus Reinach going away to Johan Robala. Bounce pass. Sasha has knocked that one on. Again, a little bit of a mistake made by the Argentines. Rush defence from Edward van der Merwe. Offloaded from his back was Mendy. And now breaking forward is Lucio Cinti. Simon Benitez Cruz. This game's going to absolutely fly by if both sides are playing it like this. Wide cutout pass into Rodrigo Isgro's hands. He will look for a big boot downfield. That is a huge kick. It's gone into the 22, taken by Fussy, who decides against the mark call. And he will go with the big left boot down towards the halfway line. Phenomenal kick from Fussy there. Gets Argentina about 40 metres out from their own line. Lavanini versus Joseph Barker would be good. Always happy when the Pumas put up a good fight. I can't just give the victory to the Boks that easy. And also we have got there Zulu and Andre not combining well. I think there's just been a few early mistakes made. I think that's Sasha's second drop of the ball. Estes, and they've just shown the replay. There was no way he was going to be able to catch that ball. It was far too much out in front of him. Now line out here for Ignacio Ruiz. 13 minutes through. And another nice line out take for Guido Petty. Breaking off the back was the try scorer. And Benjamin Grondona. And Benitez Cruz looking towards that right-hand side where Lavanini was lurking. Now rush defence just a little bit too quick off the mark for Ludiacha there. Now short side Simon Benitez Cruz. Ball over the top, bit of a miscommunication from the Pumas out wide, but it will go back for that initial penalty. We have got their box hands shocking in these conditions. Says Dunk, yeah, it is extremely dry out there. I believe it's relatively warm, which maybe you could say a bit of sweatiness on the hands, but you definitely wouldn't say that they shouldn't be catching the ball in some of these scenarios, which may sound a bit harsh, but yeah, it just seems like their ball's not quite sticking to the fingers as of yet, but a kick towards the sideline from Argentina again. Now let's go Japan, says Shane, and box is so rusty. Says Powerhouse, is a full house for the game or tickets sold? Not quite. I think someone mentioned earlier on it looks like about an 85 to 90% of the crowd is there. What's going on, says Anton? It has been a great, quick start from the Argentines here. How's the Boks playing? They've had a lot of handling errors, but they look aggressive, which is the main thing at this point in time. Now passing the ball on to the outside where Joaquin Moro was waiting. Simon Benitez Cruz. Again, shifting away to the left. Thomas Lavanini. Big shot on him by Ludiacha as well as Elric Lowe. Bit of a counter right from the Boks also. Almost sealing off from the Argentines. Wide cutout pass. It's gone forward. And now we're going to get to see the first scrum of the day in favour of the Boks. Of course, we've already seen one where Argentina had the feed. We're going to get to see what South Africa can do with their scrum here. Pathetic Boks useless, says Louis. We're only 14 minutes in to this contest. I believe they will get better as this match wears on. We've got to remember some of these guys have not put on the Springbok kit for quite some time. There's going to be a bit of rust there. But Argentina have come out with a really aggressive mindset. We have got there fast and aggressive. As the Pumas are back home, going to be tough, says Christo there. And the Pumas' tails are up, says Dunky. They are absolutely up for this challenge currently. But it's whether or not they can keep that same mentality throughout the 80 minutes. Now I'm in. When we start slow, we win, says Ulrich there. I think the perfect example is 22-0 up against the Australians. Like, that game changed big time. I think that South Africa... It's not the end of the world being down by 7 at this point in time, and we've seen them win games before, and that is now going to be a big one. Kobus Reinach giving a bit of a conversation with Pablo Matera, who was not listening to him. Reinach trying to ask for the penalty at the back of the scrum, though. They already had the penalty from the initial push, and the Boks need to get into the game. We can't defend all game. Our backline is too big to do that. And quickly say, I'm not going to say it, John, because I know what that means, because I've had it said to me many times. Eben to retire after this match, says Matthias. Well, he took an early head knock in this matchup. Luckily, seems like he is all right. Argies have the bottle, but they don't have the minerals. They'll gas out. And we have got their... Rick says truth and justice. And also we've got the Hamish. Is the beginning of the end of Springbok rugby? No, we're still... The thing is, they won all their games of the Nations Championship. They're going to win at least a few of the games of the Greatest Rivalry Tour. It's definitely not the end of the world. And we have got there this game, or this box, or this group of Boks, haven't really played much together before, as they need to find their groove as the game goes on. It's still early in the game, last 5 minutes is where we will know. Now going forward, towards the 22. Bit too much distance on that kick from South Africa, so it is going to be a nice easy mark for Santiago Herreras. And also, we've got there, I know Ruben is still swearing, please keep it respectful, says Ruth. That one has been kicked downfield. Not looking for the touchline there, Argentina. Now, Sasha Feinberg Ngumezulu kicks that one high. Chasing after it. The tackle made on his opposite number, Herreras. Now, going left here. Prisiantelli almost decided he wanted to play halfback, but instead Simon Benitez-Cruz says that's not your job. You get back into your fullback role. And go the Pumas go, says Josiah. And as we have there, not box A side also, says Ian. Argentina use it. Christoph Ridley, that one's going to be charged down, but the Argentines have managed to retain the ball. Guido Petty gets it. Cameron Honeycomb not quite able to. The box midfield looks like they're still on holiday. We over there go the box, says Johannes. And there as well, but this one rolled back by Simon Benitez-Cruz again. We're seeing a few box kicks in the early stages of this matchup. 17 and a half minutes through, almost a quarter of the way through this game. Apalele Fassi, big shot on him by Ignacio Ruiz, who looked like he caught him around the chest, maybe a little bit higher. Two B teams playing boring. Says John, well, you don't have to watch it. I don't think anyone's holding you hostage to have to watch this game of rugby, are they? If they were, that's how I'd want to be held hostage, to be fair. If someone was like, you have to watch rugby, I'd be like, sweet, just let me just watch it for 12 hours. Now, Apalele Fassi kicks it downfield again. A little bit too much depth on the kick from the South Africans. Oh, Reinach not happy. He wanted to give a bit of a go at Guido Petty too. Seems like they're trying their best to fire up the halfback here at the moment, and it is certainly working. We have got there Moody as another player on the turn. Says Rugby there. Now pass across to the right. Big bump off from Pablo Matera. All being tackled by Reinach once again. Little grubber attempted in behind by the Argentines, but the ball sits up for Sasha Feinberg and Ngumezulu. Offload to Cameron Honeycomb. Breaks through one challenge. Can't quite get through the second. Now Reinach. Way to the right-hand side again. Ludiacha tackle 40 metres out from the Argentine line. Reinach back again to Andre Esterhazy, and he almost had the inside option of going to Sasha Feinberg and Ngumezulu, but decides to hang on to it and take the contact yet again. Now Bonfinta, the big loose head. It's his first carry of the contest. Reinach across now to Apalele Fassi. They're just looking to build here, South Africa. It seems like they're slightly stagnating in terms of this attack, but now Reinach goes short side to Ethan Hooker, runs out of space, gets driven closer to the sideline. How can you be rusty? I've been playing all season. And also, if the kidnappers asked me to watch rugby, I'd ring the family and tell them to call off the search. Says Rugby Jackal. Now Reinach again. We are now the quarter of the way through this contest. The first carry for Captain Kolisi. Reinach short side, snipe, big smashing shot on him by Ignacio Ruiz. Playing halfback was Thomas the Toy. This is great phase play from the South Africans, sitting 10 phases in a row and still slowly building. Kolisi runs it up to the 22. Had a couple injury troubles throughout recent times, so he will be hoping to make it through this matchup without another one. Sasha Feinberg Ngumezulu delays his pass. In fact, delayed it that much that he never made it. Reinach up to the right-hand side again. Honeycomb into the hands of Johan Robela. Up to 13 phases in a row now. And they should look sharp, Hamish. I would believe Argentina. Why are they going drop Cole? Sasha, he has got it. Oh, it's hit the crossbar. Bounces back out into the hands of Argentina, who now can kick it downfield with Santiago Herreras, who's looking for massive distance. Sasha was already back. But that's something you don't see every day. The attacking backline that the Boks have got, and they resulted or kind of reverted back to trying to go for the three rather than continuing the attack. But that was down to the Argentinian discipline as well there. Someone just like to read their comments with your legendary commentary voice, Hamish. Says Iron Lion. Now ball in the hands of Argentina yet again now. Now Lavanini. Another pass. Oh, Honeycomb in off the feet there in the breakdown, but manages to get out of the way. And the Boks on the ropes well. And also Sky went blank. Says LB, and you always have to drop goal option, practice and in the pockets. And yeah, just didn't quite have the distance there for Sasha. But I think they were doing nicely in terms of slowly building up into phases. Oh, I think Eben Etzbeth have made contact with one of the players at the ruck there. I think when he was going for the charge, uninterruption on Sky Sport. Says Clifford there. And also we've got there's going to be some screaming from the Boks locker room at halftime. And it looks like the Boks are winging it. Says Mabalala, yeah, they are having a few mistakes at the moment that they don't normally make. You know, the likes of their handling errors. Well, to be fair, there's been a few handling errors throughout the season for a lot of sides. But it just seems to be a couple of the missed tackles as well as leaving a lot of opportunity for a bit of a counter-attack. But currently the South Africans have got the position, sitting 40 metres out from the Argentinian line. Sio Colisi with a pass on the outside to Ethan Hooker. Bit of pace shown there from the left winger. Oh, that's going to smash South Africa 4-0. Says Champagne Lord and Eben back to his old eye-gouging ways. No. Hopefully, there's going to be no eye-poking going on throughout this game for either of these sides. That's a close steal for Pablo Matera, just losing his footing in the last moment. Sio Colisi almost breaking through. This is nice phase play again from the South Africans who are managing to put together almost double digits once more. A tackle to Etzebeth without wrapping, says LB there. I've now got Argentinian commentary. Says dunk there, but there's a knock on from the South Africans 5 metres out from Argentina's line. Mistake made by Eben Etzebeth. It is now going to be the scrum. Oh, it's a game of rugby without the odd eye poke, says Simon Barnes. And lovely to see, says Ruth. And come on the box, says Anton. And there too, but they are just showing the replay of that drop kick. That just shows you how long that phase was, or like that passage of play. The fact that it is only now that they're able to go back and show that drop kick that we saw many moments ago. A knock on, but illegal tackle man, says LB. Yeah, they are just going to show the replay here of Eben Etzebeth. Yeah, not a lot of arm wrap coming from Guido Petty there, just hitting Etzebeth around the thigh. We have you there boxing, what are you doing? Says Anton, and let's go to the box, says Chislin. But yeah, currently the way that it does sit, we are sitting 10-3 after the first 23 minutes of this contest. Oh, no arms tackled by Guido Petty. The TMO have come in. I told you I picked it up and now the ref saw it. Says LB, maybe you should be a referee, LB, with some skills like that. And Sacha Feinberg and the crossbar challenge. And relax like Stormers. This Argentinian team will not keep up for the 80. Says Ian, why the referee's always so biased by Argentina? Says Rugby ready? Well, I mean, I definitely talked to them about that in their game up against the English and see how you get on. Because they definitely didn't receive too much of it there. That should be a yellow, says Rugby ready. They're literally looking at it now, though. So they have gone back. The TMO has found it, and Ben Whitehouse, they are going to be checking to see whether or not it was the no arms tackle worthy of a card rather than just being a penalty. Just tuned in. The Pumas are so unpredictable, says Paul. And we have it there. We could be in for an upset here. Argentina will lead at halftime is a good bet. And Morena, my lad, two of the biggest, powerful packs in rugby, says Joshua. Okay, it's a penalty only here. And it sounds like there's a bit of an injury that Argentina are treating too. How's Hamish? Thanks for the great commentary. Says, Brett, no worries at all. And Sasha looks very rusty. Yeah, well, he hasn't played for a couple of months, so it's understandable. But that is also why this game is so crucial in terms of Sasha's development towards that Greatest Rivalry Tour. Because you'd rather have him be rusty here than rather rusty in the first test match. Of course, no card. Says Rugby ready. And we have it there. Canada is hopeful for Argentina, says Charles. And the Boks always get every call they want, says Josiah. There's a massacre in the making for Rassi while there is still time. Okay. So Eben Etzebeth was just asking the referee. He was saying, if I wasn't chopped down, I would have scored that try. So he was trying to ask for the penalty try in that scenario. The referee pretty much said no. There were multiple phases afterwards as well. They should find their rhythm by the second half. Says cited there, and Canada is hopeful for South Africa. Says it is Nico there now rolling more chance for the South Africans. Argentina managing to stop it just for now, although now is it legally being sacked. That's an advantage, collapsing them all. Now you got Harrobala 5 metres from the try line. Sio Colisi looking to play halfback. Away to the right-hand side. A little bit of afters between Andre Estes and one of the Argentinian players too. Reinach shut down by Simon Benitez. Cruiser will wrestle him down 10 metres from the Argentine line. And Argentina would be 20 up against the All Blacks. Says Truth and Justice. And also we've got there getting any call they want. Oh. No advantage going back for the side entry. Number 2, Ignacio Ruiz. I don't think Argentina will be an absolute mile away from getting themselves a yellow card here if they aren't careful. This ill-discipline that is now creeping in, but currently 5 metres out from the line. And again, Sasha looks towards the sideline. I think they might go scrum here. Or do they? I know they've got a bit of an injury first. We have their Springboks playing so flat. Says Gutsi, and also we have got there, this has been a poor half from the box. A lot of these players haven't played in a long time. Says LB. We have got there, are you going to get your dad in for one of the big games? Please say you will. Says Ruby. He did do one of the South African games, didn't he? In terms of like a couple minutes when I had a toilet break. But maybe. We'll see what can happen. Sia going off. Sia's sighted there. Yeah, Sia Kolisi making his way from the field. That is after the heavy knock that he did suffer in the last breakdown. Although it actually seems like it's the right leg that has given him some trouble. He was holding up high. Maybe the hamstring. He could do the World Cup next year. And Etzebeth should have been a comedian. Says Shane there. And also Boxer giving them hope. Just wait. And it was captain. I would say now Etzebeth takes on that captaincy role. Going to the line out at the back. Awkward bouncing ball picked up nicely by Simon Benitez Cruz in the counter-attack now. Coming from Argentina, going for the boot downfield. They're going to go up the middle of the park. Sasha says he's foot tripped. He's looking towards the touch judge and they say no. And now they're kicking behind from the South Africans. Back to Santiago Herreras. Looking for the ball into the 22 and has done just that. Fussy will take the mark. I think it's going to be a good one. Looking forward to it, says Big Rig. Arasi plays with an 80-minute plan. Says Ulrich there. And also you think the dirty Argentinian players will revert back to the ball grabbing soon. Okay, just play through, they've said. So they've checked that one with Sasha. And I believe it was Simon Benitez Cruz. And they've said that they both were running the same line. I liked the Kane and Moody. But I guess that was probably picked up earlier. Says Ruby, it was, yes. Someone spotted it very quickly. But we did actually have Marnie Libok as the starting 10 in the initial lineup, so we did fix that one. We have there, love him, but must retire to the Stormers. Says Ulrich and Eben as well. And is this going to be the final score? No, we've still got plenty more time remaining. 26 minutes through. So another 54 minutes to go in this contest. But the Argentines, they are still leading by the 7 currently. Looking to keep on extending it. Santiago Herreras with a bounce pass. Doesn't quite work out there. Rodrigo Isgro tries to kick, but it's partially charged down. Drop ball from Argentina. It's rolled us backwards. Prisiantelli just loses the footing in the last moment. Now Simon Benitez Cruz going for the kick and behind, but Sasha is back and ready to cover it. Takes on the contact from within his 22. South Africa playing worse than the All Blacks yesterday. So here's cool story. And if Argentina win this game, does that mean that the Boks can go undefeated this season? That they can't go undefeated this season. Well, yeah, technically, because it would be a loss, wouldn't it? I feel like you answered your own question, but you just wanted someone to acknowledge it. Now, Kobus Reinach rolling this ball back. Now, Apelele Fassi doesn't quite get the same angle as his earlier kick in the game. A good player 10 years ago, Sia. I gotta love him, but really ready to be melted down for wax. And also, we were in their 22. We just messed it up. Yeah, it was that line out that was the mistake. Went over the top from Johan Robela, and then from there, Argentina straight away looking towards that counter-attack. Springboks can't afford to play this way against the All Blacks, says John Tipu. Probably not. I don't think that either of the Springboks or the All Blacks will be happy with their performances so far this weekend. The commentators just said the world rankings are on the line. Says Simon Barnes, nice run forward up to the 22-metre line for Rodrigo Isgro. Managing to roll away in time with the South African forwards. Argentina wouldn't mind themselves a penalty advantage in the near future. Two massive driving, two-man tackle made by Eben Etzebeth as well as Marco van Staden. Counter-ruck coming from South Africa too, and they have managed to get that ball back. Is this going to be the final score? Once again, no. There's still plenty of time. 52 minutes. If we didn't see a single point score for 52 minutes, that would be quite disastrous. Definitely with how aggressive both sides seem to be going for the attack. Yeah, but All Blacks played against a club yesterday. Today, Boks playing a national team. Says Marcus there, and we have got there Sia back in. Or was he replaced? He was replaced by Marco van Staden. Went off the field in about the 25th minute. Ball on the side of Argentina yet again. And Thomas Datoi wanted to go in to grab that ball, wasn't able. We have got the Argentina. We're clearly better than England. Disgraceful refereeing. Says Stephen there, and Sasha's already fit to play. Fast recovery, says Jay. So yeah, they did rush him back a little bit, I think, but At the same time, as long as he's match fit enough, it's probably a good game to get him out there. Nice work from Cameron Honeycomb and manages to win the turnover in the breakdown. What was wrong with Sia? Was it his leg? It looked like it was the right leg to me as he was walking off the field. 30 minutes in, we only scored 3 points. Sia Xander, I wouldn't mind losing, to be honest. Some grounding for the real challenge, says Ulrich. And also, this is the final score, says Bruce. Oh, number 4, Argentina took someone off the ball anyway. Guido Petty's playing a dirty game at the moment. We have a lovely commentary, but the comments from most of the comments are so stupid. Says Peter there. And also, we over there was in New Zealand. Says Truth and Justice. Now, Sasha Feinberg and Gume Zulu. Again, going to be putting this ball into touch. So it's going to be about 22 metres out from the line at the moment. So a good chance to get that attack going. We got the donation from Anton as well. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated by Peter. Says online. Ref doing a good job, says Rugby Jekyll. They seem like they're in control of this game at the moment. The way that they have been going. And better than England, totally delusional. Says John Richard. Now this one's going to be thrown over the top again. A little bit of a loose line out. Picked up by Cameron Honeycomb. About 22 metres from the line. Reiner pops it up to Johan Robala. The old box looking really old. Although, to be fair, there's still like a couple of them move around nicely. Reiner, for instance, is one of the older players out there. That looked like it could have been deliberate from Argentina. No, in fact, a penalty awarded to the Pumas. Or is it? Or is it? Okay, a little bit of push and shove now as well. The ref was biased for Argentina. They even tried to give last play a try despite being out. And the fourth official had to step in and stop him. Says Rugby Ready. No, it's actually the other way around, Rugby Ready. Quick tap was about to take place, but they don't decide to. We have the Argentina has declared a national holiday for beating the English. Very strange thing to do, says Stephen. That one's going to be kicked down the middle of the field. And this one's going to be sitting up nicely. Edward van der Merwe. Oh, okay. I'm not sure whether or not that was the distance that he was looking for. It's going to be knocked on by the Argentines. Pop back to Elric Lowe. I look like a fair jackal from Honeycomb, says Cameron. From Rugby. Up in Lilifasi again, the up and under. South Africa seem like they have a little bit of a mission in this game to not hold on to the ball and like give it back to Argentina multiple times. I don't know whether or not that's some sort of tactic to try and run Argentina off their feet. Like I mentioned, that 6-2 split. Another knock on, though, coming from the Argentines. So we'll go back for another scrum here. This one's going to be about 25, maybe 30 metres out from the line. I'm not a fan of Eldrick Losey's Truth and Justice. But now sitting with the 4 handling errors for the South Africans compared to the 3 of the Argentinians. Any scrums yet? We've seen 2 scrums so far, 1 for each side. South Africa were able to get themselves the penalty advantage from theirs, and I believe that is exactly what they'll be aiming to do here as well. Seeing some good clean-outs, though, from both of these teams trying to protect that ball. Is it raining? Why so many knock-ons? It's actually about as sunny as it could be. By this one, have faith the Box are softening up the Pumas. Last 20 minutes will be a bloodbath. As typical Rugby Rugby. Says Gage in there. Now we see it. Rugby trying his different moves out pre-World Cup. And now Honeycomb will be breaking off the back of the scrum if it does manage to be completed. A little bit of a drinks break from both of those sides. Sorry, I'm back. Anyone scored just the same as when you were here, Josiah. And we have got this South Africa almost as bad as New Zealand here, says Truth and Justice. And can we just run the ball? Well, that's the thing. I think with this backline, right, if they look to attack with ball in hand, South Africa will score a try. But they haven't done that yet. They've been willing to go for the kick. Typical Rugby Rugby whilst the Box are playing terribly, says Gutsia there. And how often do you see the Box needing a break, says Big Rig, and boo, South Africa, Argentina's going to win, says Nadine. Which half are they spending the most time in, says Memento. Probably Argentina's because South Africa are trying to play territory. But as a whole, a lot of this game has been taking place around that halfway line. Comes Reinach. Puts the ball in. Big scrum from Argentina. Holding their own. In fact, not only holding it, pushing them hard. And Reinach looked like he knocked that ball on at the back of the scrum. Still going to be on the side of the South Africans here, though. Box would win if the game was fair, says Rugby Ready. Well, at least you're not going on about it, eh? Going away to the right-hand side now. Johan Robala We got a donation from Grand Dude as well. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. Big run from Andre Esterhazen, trying to go over the top of the try scorer, Benjamin Grondona. Sasha, that's an ugly two-man tackle. I think everyone was dipping in there, Sasha as well as the Argentine defenders, but they may still have a look at it with the TMO. Good evening, says Zakaya. Welcome in. Now Reinach goes away to Sasha again. The skip pass knocked on by Ethan Hooker. And the ball back with Argentina now. Short side chance for Presiantel. He tried to grab a referee's ruled that as advantage over for the knock-on. Our Boxer playing so poor, I'm embarrassed, says LB. And also, what is the score? Currently 10-3 in favour of the Argentines after 33 minutes of this contest. Been told to use it there for Reinhardt. Came and shave your beard. Is that because you're not sure whether or not it's been dyed or not, Deborah? Now Reinhardt puts this ball up high. Chasing after it was Ethan Hooker, but claimed by Santiago Herreras, who manages to get through the Hooker tackle. Now Moro, tackled by Reinach. A ball in hand, says Richard there. Yeah, they had it for a little bit until they decided to kick it away. That's a beautiful kick pass going straight in the hands of the Argentines out wide. This is a big chance. Oh, Apalele Fassi sat down in the challenge. Now Benitez Cruz. It's the knock-on, though, from the big man winger, and it gives the ball back to South Africa now at the scrum. And can we see, sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio will get us taken straight off YouTube. But it is on Super Sport, Sky Sport, Stan Sport, and all those type of options. See off, says Simon Barnes there. Yeah, he did go off in the 25th minute of this contest. So that 6-2 split kind of becomes a 5-2 now. And the Box strategy might be to put continuous pressure on the key Argentine game drivers. Works for 20 or 30 minutes, but over the course of 80 minutes, someone will lose focus. I think the fact that no one's had a yellow card as of yet for either of these sides is actually quite impressive. Normally by this stage, we would have seen a yellow from someone, but they're well and truly behaving. You're the best, bro, says Michael. Thank you very much. I won't mention anyone who is new to the channel. Of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here for this match. We are almost at halftime already. We have their really sloppy, poor discipline. Hand the pill straight back to South Africa. Same old Argentina. Says Rugby Jackal. But I see it go off. Looked like a leg injury. His right leg seemed to be giving him a little bit of trouble. So hopefully nothing too serious. Who's the referee? Christoph Ridley in charge with Ben Whitehouse as his TMO. Okay, knock on blue. Scrum green is the call there. And it seems like the scrum is where South Africa are really going to look to assert that dominance. And it's somewhere that they can actually get themselves straight back into this game. Walked himself off though. So it didn't seem too concerning, says Simon. Yeah, might have just been a little bit of a tweak. You could argue that he could have rushed back a little bit too quick. Agustin Moyano is on the field. That is for Simon Benitez Cruz. That is a concern. We have got there, when Hamish starts sounding bothered by the score, because we know he adopted South Africa as a second rugby identity, I'll start stressing about the score, says Ruby. Pollard for the second half, please, says Hillberry. Scrum reset now again. Fassi took a hard knock, so I assume he's all right. What a nightmare of a watch, says Rexy there. Yeah, at the moment, Australia versus Japan, best game of the weekend in terms of the entertainment and smoothness of the game. Rassi is the professor. He has studied the first half and will make the necessary adjustments, says Gaijin, and the box of Rusty. Where'd that one go? That disappeared. Rusty should get the WD-40 at halftime for these old tanks. Paula, we need you, says Redo. Dion Ferri will outplay Khaleesi. And also Rassi is going to kick butt in their changing room. Now scrum feed here, 4 minutes remaining of this first half. And again, both sides being disciplined for now. My front rows have collapsed here. Been told to use it. Reinach will go away to the left-hand side. Andre Hestays and crashing into his opposite number. Reinach short ball to Elric Lowe as they move up to the halfway line. Now back across to the right-hand side again. Buan Fenta joining that breakdown early alongside Thomas Detoy. And it was actually Johan Robelo who ran the ball. Or are you also stressed about the score? Not really. I feel like you only need to be stressed about a scoreline when there's like 5 minutes to go. That's when it starts getting tension-filled. But there's still plenty of time in this contest for both of these teams. For all we know, Argentina could score again before the halftime break, or South Africa may be able to fire one back and make this game 10-10 at halftime. And we have the early changes in the first half, says Memento. And also the South Africa A side too. Says harden up. That's a mistake made at the back. But it was on the sideline or over the sideline. We have got there, if the box play like this against the All Blacks, they're getting hammered, says Simon. And yeah, bro, we are 7 up. Sprite is better though, says Iron Flame. Sorry, says Iron Lion. Santiago Herreras just managed to call that mark before Edward Finnemurva got to him. We have there people who look into this match, have short memories, South Africa quite regularly have horrible warm-up games heading into a big series. There'll be a different side for the All Blacks, says Neil. It's nicely taken by Ludiacha, though. 3 minutes remain in this first half. Big shot on Mako van Staren. Replacement for Kolisi in the earlier stages of the matchup. Reinhardt back to Sasha, and again, they are going for that kicking option. They haven't won too many high balls as of yet here, and Argentina are doing nicely to control it. Lucio Cinti now having the ball in hand, big driving tackle. Moyano away to the left-hand side, missed tackle from Thomas Tatoya, was looking to chop out the kneecaps, and now left-hand side, Herreras moves it on to Presiantelli, passes it out wide, close to the sideline for Cinti, or no, in fact, that time it was Ignacio Mendy. Now to the right once again, being driven sideways, and almost backwards there, Lavanini. Sneak his way through. That was a good clean out from the Argentines to keep the ball on their side too. Are we not risking injury? We have got there, funny how people are quick to judge players. How many Khaleesi's bad comments so far. People saying that this are probably so unfit they can't outrun a lawnmower. Says Kip. Big shout out to Phil and Sarah, watching from Cornwall in New Zealand. So shout out to those two people, Phil and Sarah. Oh, nice take. No, in fact, drop ball from Rodrigo Isgro in the end. Andre Esterhazen, all on the side of the box with 90 seconds remaining in this first half. Elric Lowe up to the 40-metre line. They need something, some sort of moment, even if it is just a 3 near the end of this half, but I assume they'll be going for the full 7 available. Reinach looking to go away to the right-hand side. Ludiacha, 2-man tackle on him. Still around that 40 metres out, and the ball almost stolen there by Pablo Matera. But the ball being taken back by Ludiacha. In the breakdown, Sasha going away to the right-hand side. Andre Esterhazen with a little bit of a handling error, but now pops it on the outside to Kane. A Moody delay pass up to Lily Farsi. It's got Edward Finnemurva with him, and he has got the pace to get down the wing. South Africa scored just before the half-time break. And Sasha playing bad, says Richard. Facing your Giants, you can conquer box, and also we've got there Moreno, 147 kg. That's a lot of lots. Sato got into that body, says Duncan. Great hands by Moody, says Ian. And also very nice delayed pass from Andre Esterhazen to be able to fire it on the outside. Hope Sasha gets through this. Get to the next gear for the series here is crucial. This guy says Rugby ready, and who scored in the end? It was Edward Finnemurva who was able to score it, and Andre says Ian there. Managing to score it between the posts too, so making it a nice easy kick for Sasha Fame Ngume Zulu, I should say. We've got 4 seconds remaining of this half. This kick from Sasha. Once he does take it, it is going to be halftime. What channel you're watching on? Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand. To be fair to South Africa, the All Blacks are usually known as slow starters too. Mouth-watering prospects ahead. And these are the kind of games that are exciting to watch. But yeah, 10-all between these two sides at the halftime break. We have got their bad first half, says Call Me Short. And also we have got their That's It box, says Benson. And even Stevens at halftime. So yeah, this one could easily go either way in the second 40, which is the best kind of situation here, isn't it? Argentina, the question of whether or not they were going to be well and truly up for this game, I think that's been answered throughout the first half. So ESPN is ahead of Sky, correct. Or not all Sky. If you were watching on satellite with Sky, you would probably be the same as ESPN or maybe a little bit further ahead. But because I'm watching on Sky Sport now so that I can do it through my PC, it means that I'm slightly more delayed. We have you there. They finally they finally don't kick it for territory, and they score. What a surprise! Says Slow GT. And what did the Bok do wrong for the first 40 minutes? They did start extremely slow in terms of the just the amount of times that they decided to run the ball. They were kicking a lot, which I guess you could say was one of their problems. Shows how one-dimensional South Africa is. If you can handle the box kicks, says Sports Unfiltered. But the thing is, right? You talk about that Greatest Rivalry Tour just around the corner. What's one thing that the All Blacks really did struggle with up against the Stormers and also have struggled with throughout the last couple of years? That is the up and unders. So, you know, it's going to be really intriguing to see whether or not the All Blacks have a counter for those kicks, because what we saw up against the Stormers was far from what you'd like to see as a counter measurement. But Argentina are good under a high ball. They've shown that time and time again. One-dimensional is not the word that describes the current box, sorry. Says Kip there, and also we have got there who scored the try. So the try was scored by Edward Fanamurva. We also did see earlier on in the game, Benjamin Grondona was the man who was able to score. We have there, are you Kiwi? Says John, I certainly am. So we're currently sitting 8 a.m. here in New Zealand, which isn't too bad of a time for a game of rugby. Quite late for you guys in South Africa currently, 10 p.m. for this matchup. South Africa have lost to Japan before, says John Tipu. And also Argentina C team, says Shane. And I just phoned Rasi. He said people, I don't know, never score first against the box, says Regan. And so we hear there, Shags says, call me short. Did you watch the first half? No scrum penalties and not winning the box kicks. The box looked terrible, although they did win one scrum penalty. It was in the early stages, their first scrum of the game. Do you hunt? I do not. I do a little bit of fishing, but not very well. We have got there, 2 cents had to hit the bed. Yeah, he was up for the Japan-Australia game, right? So decided afterwards to have a bit of a snooze. Greatest rivalry. Feast number 4 in Baltimore. Can't even get a TV partner in the USA. It's Prime Video. And also New Zealand will be licking their lips at some of these Argentinian players playing in the South American League. This is their C team. Says Sports Unfiltered and come and South Africa, don't be so fickle. Let the lads settle in. It's ridiculous and arrogant to expect the Box to just come out and destroy everyone in the first 30 seconds. Says Aiko. Yeah, the chat is going very quickly at the moment, ladies and gents. Anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. For anyone wondering what is to come in the near future for the South Africans as well as Argentina, Argentina's next game will be up against the Australians. They have also got a 2-match series against the Aussies, so the second game isn't actually shown there. But for the South Africans, they have got New Zealand in 2 weeks. Then they've got New Zealand again in 3 weeks. Then they've got New Zealand again in 4 weeks, and then they've got New Zealand again in 5 weeks. And then from there, they play the Australians 2 weeks after that. So a lot of excitement still around the corner in terms of the international game. The Box have got a busy year because they also have the November internationals that are coming up. For them, they are playing the Italians, the French, and the Irish. Same sides as Argentina are playing, except in a different order. Ireland first for the Argentines, and then finishing out with the French as well. But the Nations Championship, the way that it sits, France are at the top of the bunch for the North. South Africa are at the top of the bunch currently for the South, although them and New Zealand both on the same points, but points differential, an extra 30 in favour of the South Africans. And what I'll also mention is, for anyone who doesn't know how the Nations Championship works, top side from the North play the top side of the South. They play for the trophy, and whoever wins that is the Nations champion for the first year. Which is nice. You want a trophy in the cabinet. I know that South Africa already have quite a few, so I'd like to add that one to the list as well. Argentina, white team, good against the Box Z team, says Ian. And who do you think will win? I still think South Africa should be able to get the job done, but they're making hard work of it throughout that first half. That does not mean that they can't come out absolutely firing, though. Did you watch the Curry Cup? The Bulls conceded 23 penalties. That's a lot of penalties. 23. That's more than most games combined for the two sides. We have got there, also I'm voting for South Africa, says Reza there. And whereas Colby is waiting for that Greatest Rivalry Tour, a little bit similar to what we're seeing for Jas Professor. I like what we're seeing for Peter Steph Toy, all those guys getting one game off so that they are fresh and raring to go. We have got there, Sia, as you go play in Japan. You could put a few bob away, share a tiny apartment with Malcolm Marks, says Sean. And also the team that scores the most wins. But that is just obvious. And also the Bockies can do this, says Megan. And there too, so I hope you are doing well, Megan. But yeah, currently 10-all between these two sides. A nice close fixture on the cards here. But we have seen the Springboks run away with sides or run away with games before in the second 40. So that'll be exactly what they're aiming for. But Argentina are well and truly still in there. And we have got their Amish South Africans in the comments saying this is their D team. 90% of these guys will play, or 80% of these guys will play first test. Says Sports Unfiltered. I think it's no different to what we saw in the All Black Stormers one, though, in terms of the comments. Like, everyone loves using the terminology, the B team, the C team, the D team. Like, it's one of those ones, though, when you're international-wise, you guys know how I feel about it, how every side and every player who represents an international team is what is considered the top of the top. They are considered world-class, A+. But, like, there's the difference between... in fact, I just consider it as experimental when you have a few different names in there. But even so, you've still got those main guys. Lots of mistakes, sure, but boy, did the bounce favour the Argentinians, struggling with the sun, I think. Says Kryzen. And yeah, it did seem to be the aerial challenge. That was something that Argentina were doing extremely well. Now, they weren't actually the ones who were enforcing it, or at least engaging in it early on. It seemed like it was more so South Africa who were trying to turn this into a kicking battle. We have got their box look a little rusty. And Rusty will not take that if we come out or we play first 5 minutes, so changes will come roaring. And South Africa being super dominant up front, exactly the challenge the Box want before the All Blacks. So all going to plan. Let's just hope the Box can win. Not making it easy with the errors. See, there's Chipsborough there. We have their Box are allowed to look rusty, but the All Blacks aren't. Says Sports Unfiltered. I don't think anyone said that, but you can still write your narratives, I guess, right? We have got there. Did you watch the All Blacks versus South Africa on Saturday? The All Blacks versus South Africa on Saturday. What sport we talking? They didn't play in the rugby, unless you're talking under 18s. I know that there was some rugby taking place there. Which game was on Saturday between All Blacks? Oh, you're talking about the Stormers, right? Yeah, we covered that game on the channel. Sorry, it took me way too long to work out that that's what you meant. But yeah, they were playing up against the Stormers, the first match of the Greatest Rivalry Tour. Let's go to the Springboks. There's Kunawa there. I love the way rugby is winning as a sport these days. It's all over the place and more fans for one of the most brutal yet honourable games. Says Ruby. And can you hear Rassi screaming in New Zealand? He will be fired up about what we have seen in this first half. But at the same time, he has been in these type of scenarios before. He seems to know how to talk the side up and get them into a mentality going out there and changing the game. Go Argentina, up the Canes, Hamish. Says Val there too. The Bok fans with excuses now. Game not finished. Just relax, says Alex. Yeah, like, it could all change. Like, we could see South Africa go out second half, score 3 tries within 15 minutes and call this one a day. We could see Argentina go out, score a couple tries, quick succession. We could see yellow cards. We haven't seen any yet. So we are still probably due for at least one. We have got there Tony Brown, best South African coach ever. Says Shane. The Swamp squad always seem to have 20 points in them. Hamish, the B team is your 24 to 46 players playing together. Not missing a couple guys, please. People don't understand what B team means. Says Sport Unfiltered, and we have got there, what is your drink of choice? I've got water at the moment. I've got a couple bottles. I've hardly drunk any throughout this match. When do you ever sleep? We rely on you for all the games for your play to you, says the Real Rugby fans. I squeezed like 4 hours in before this stream. So that's actually a decent amount for a weekend. We now can see the Box are not the force and pack without Peter Steph Toy. Says Richard, although Eldrick Lowe's been moving around the park quite nicely. He's probably been one of the busier forwards that we've seen, alongside a bit of Honeycomb in there too. I'm going to have to miss about 50 messages because I am a mile behind, ladies and gents, so I'm going to skip them and then read them after the stream. We have got there, the All Blacks are playing according to plan. The Box are playing according to plan, says Eldrick there, and Argentina don't even have their best fly half and have been struggling all year. Yeah, the Box team is struggling to keep up, says Simon. To be fair, though, Santiago Herreras was regarded as the best fly half out of Argentina for quite some time. It's just the fact that Thomas Albanoz is out. But you could also argue Thomas Albanoz is only out because of his own stupidity. So, like, that can't be blamed for, like, he's going to be out for a long time because, fun fact, you're not allowed to abuse a referee. So that's on him. I don't think that can be blamed as the reason that they're struggling or anything along those lines is because of a certain player missing who did it to himself. It's like a guy who goes out and punches someone. And then people go, oh, if he was there, we'd win. But it's like, well, no, because he punched someone, so it's his own doing. We need to remember Argentina beat the British and Irish Lions. And also we got the South Africa and playing like a bunch of golden oldies, coached by a punch-drunk alcoholic. Says Neville, we obviously don't like them very much by the sounds of it. It's a perfect prep for playing against the ABs. This is what they want, being in a tight game. And Box need to be more patient. Build pressure, stop giving away the ball. Yeah. We have there, but there's Big Rig and the new rules. What teams need to adjust to. And the bench will be the difference in this game. South Africa started feeling some rhythm towards the end. They won't kick as much, grind them up. And also, will you consider using an action figure to demonstrate some details of what is happening on the field? I need like a lot of action figures though, and I've only got 2 hands. So maybe if I could get like, how many volunteers? I need 15 volunteers, and then we could all just make the mini game. But I'm not sure how we'd fit around a table. It'd have to be a big table. This match needs way more TMO intervention, says Chris Lord, and Moyano on his debut, right? Is he? The Augustin Moyano, yeah, no, he might be actually. I can't remember another time that he has played. He has a team. If our D team is suffering from jet lag, who are we to judge them? Says Anna, looking forward to Bolter. Facundo is a name though. We know Facundo. He's a Mia Behole. We'll go with. But hello, Tony. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are wide awake for 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And we have got there. What teams in the league is your favourite? What team? What team in league? I mean, I like watching the Warriors. They do nicely at times. Up the Wars, of course. It's their year, as I've heard. But yeah, I used to like the Roosters because of James Tedesco. But I don't know whether or not I'd still go with the Roosters. I would go with Warriors just because I'm from New Zealand, or else I'll get in trouble. Reckon speed of RG's ball caught South Africa off guard, or is South Africa just cold? It's probably a little bit of both. To be fair, Argentina have been able to play this game at a higher tempo than many would have anticipated, and I think South Africa were almost banking on Argentina kicking the ball back to them more. We've actually seen Argentina willing to run it out from the back, and they have been finding success with the meters that they've managed to make from just doing that. So, yeah, I think that there'll be a little bit of a tactical adjustment. There were a few times where South Africa had a bit too much depth on the kick, but again, we're talking about this game as if South Africa did something really badly and they're in a struggling position. They're still drawing heading into the second half, so they have got more than enough opportunity of being able to get the job done. Did you see Les Kiss's interview? His interview was so awkward. I did not. I have to give it a look, though. And RG's looking great, says Tony. And here's the question. If we win the series 3-0 with a 50 points difference, are we the greatest team of this millennium? Says Jacques with a 50 point. So you're saying 50-point difference across the 3 games, and then I guess the All Blacks draw the other game, right? Seeing as it's a 4-match series. Rusty is only testing his players, says Edward. And also both All Blacks and the Box look bad, says Iggy. The Box have not been bad. RGs have been very good, says Mike Best. So I would say Argentina have been very good, but South Africa have also been bad in this game. Let's not beat around the bush. They have had multiple handling errors that normally they would like to have a little bit more shored up. They have kicked the ball too deep multiple times throughout this contest and haven't really been able to get that physicality going in terms of the set piece. But Argentina have been phenomenal in this matchup too. Are you excited for the Black Cats versus Aussies 4-test series at the end of the year? I certainly am. I think I'm even maybe going to one of those test matches. Squad time or bomb squad time, says Johan there. And we have there the production for the Warriors pre-game performance this weekend was incredible, says Ryder. And we got there as well in all caps from John, just in case I miss it. What player is your favourite player in the All Blacks? I like Peter Larkai. And I feel like that's easier to say now that he's had that massive game over the weekend. But no, I'll go Peter Larkai. I feel like he's got a very bright future for this All Black side. South Africa always looks bad when Fussy is involved. Says Ron Chop there and multiple phases and Sasha dropkick. Unlike him, something is not gelling, says Nicholas there. Hey ho, Hamish. The Box will set it up in the second half. And Box so far been outplayed this far, I'm sorry, says Power Horse. The two sides just about to start up the second 40 minutes. It was a relatively smooth first half as a whole. I wish the All Blacks send Bowden Barrett back. He has done a love, Hamish, says Sonia. And there too. And it seems like Sia's going to miss the Greatest Rivalry Tour, unfortunate. Yeah, or maybe he'll be back. It depends, though, because do you take that risk? You don't really want to be subbing a player off early on in those type of matches. Remember, AB's had an easy home game this weekend. The Box, a tough away match. All Blacks had an easy home game. You're referring to Cape Town as the home of the All Blacks? Peter Larkai, how dare you? Says Xander there. Yeah, just showing some of the replays of this first half. Some great physicality, but also some brilliant tries being scored. Just the two, if we're being honest. Benjamin Grondone and Edward van der Merwe, but both very nicely done. And just see how much work Visa, Marks, Anoki, and Peter Sefatoy do. They are sorely missed. Paul de Villiers too. Yeah, de Villiers is one of those guys who only recently was added into the equation, but he is a massive game changer for the Box in terms of the near future. Ma'anonu is playing Tuesday for the Sharks. Yeah, from the number 23 jersey. Going to go up against his old side. It's been a long time since he's played for the All Blacks, and now for the first time playing against them. Welcome to have a proper braai with us when you're in South Africa, says Edwards. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to try my best. If I do go to South Africa, got to go to like 10 braais. We have got there, as a Box supporter, I'm frustrated with the first half. Those who thought the All Blacks looked rusty last night, this might be an eye-opener, says the breakdown. Did you watch All Blacks versus Ireland and All Caps from John? Yes, we did cover it on the channel. We covered every All Blacks and Springboks game over the past about 4 or 5 years on the channel. What would you say the main players, or who would you say are the main players they're resting? I would say at this stage, Vesa, Nokia, Peter Steph-Toy. Who else have they got? Damien Dealindi, Jesse Creel, Cheslin Colby, Damien Valimza. I won't say too many more. That's a hard landing for the Argentinian. They've said that he jumped into it, though. And shout out to Erica. Supporting South Africa. I hope they lose SWK. Now, ball is there at the back for the Argentines. Oh, it's definitely a penalty to Argentina, they have said. And this might actually be something more than just a penalty at the start of the second half. The wording from Ben Whitehouse, it was definitely a penalty. I love Iron because he loves me. I love Iron because he loves me for loving Hamish, says Sonia there. Cross kick there, and it does go into touch. Contact in the air, penalty awarded. Just outside of the 22, it seems like it is just going to be the penalty. They'll probably show a replay and maybe they'll look at it. Okay, live, he thought it was play on, but it is a penalty. You know more about the Springboks than me, Hamish. Says cool story. Yeah, so in there. Okay, Moreno has gone off. And that is being replaced by Repetti. TMO way too involved for me, says Hensel. Like in this game or just in general, I think that was one of those moments that were probably justified. And it was actually quite smooth too. That's what I don't mind about a TMO. It's when you end up in the scenario where the TMO takes 2 or 3 minutes. That one, the game was still going on. So Christoph Ridley at the time, he said it looked like it was just a play-on situation. TMO said, I've looked at it and there was a little bit of contact in the air. So then rather than just going straight away, blow the whistle, he instead gave the advantage, let it play out, and then went back to it. I think that's exactly how the TMO should be used, rather than the stop it for 2 or 3 minutes. But now Ignacio Ruiz throws the ball in, nicely taken by Thomas Lavanini, going across to the left-hand side into the hands of the try scorer, Benjamin Grondona. Now away to the right, nice inside ball from the Argentines, pass on the outside, good hands. Out wide for Pablo Matera, gets through Brian Fenter, and he's still breaking through tackles too. Matera getting through Johan Hrobela as well. Now to the left-hand side. Popping it up to Boris Wenger. A good thing I didn't place a bet, says Gamer. Now away to the left again. Lavanini lined up by Esther Hayes, and the ball's come out the back door. And a knock on there from the Argentines. It looks like they're trying to win the penalty there too, and they do so. Kanan Moody, the man who gets the not releasing penalty. We have got their hashtag ban TMO trending all over the world, says Xander, and also we've got their Narcissus Iron Lion. And also Rugby in general for the TMO side of things. Don't let the scoreboard fool you, says says Ruby. Yeah, this one's staying very close between these two sides currently with 37 minutes remaining on the clock. Also in general, not in this game. Really is not a top ref, says Hensel. How have you felt he's gone in this game? Out of curiosity, would you say that he's been decent, or have you there how long? Or he should be out for longer. 4 matches was too light, says Zakaya there. Also, lock forwards need to step up and make more meters, says Memento. They have managed to win the penalty though, so kicking it towards touch, and now the line out. It's like a 4-man line out. There might be a sneaky little maul play coming on here for the Boks. They are about 40 metres out, in fact, from the Argentine line. Currently, South Africa have just lost the 1 line out. Argentina sitting 6 from 6. This game, okay, not in general. Other games, he's been bad. And let's go to the RG, says Daniel. If the ref continues like this and the TMO do a large part of it, AI will take over soon. And score, please, the Boks, says Runaway. And there too, but currently 40 metres out from the line for the Springboks. Kobus Reinach going away to the right-hand side. Ball on the inside from Ludiaka, but the mistake made. And it's going to be picked up by Repetti. Argentina with a fresh man out there on the field. Made his way on at half-time and a new advantage going against the Boks. Now Carrera slowing the ball down as the call. There's the knock-on. They'll go back for the penalty. And once for not rolling away. I think Argentina would take 3 here with where it is on the field. Over there, this game shows that Ruanoki is the number 1 lock. And South Africa now says STC. The Boks just need to focus on the challenge in front of them at the moment. Being too tentative because of the upcoming New Zealand games, he's world champs twice. 45 through. They have called for the shot. And how much do you feel in the heart that the Bok can dig deep enough and score points? I think so. Like, this game is far from over. We've still got a lot of time. It's just a mistake made by Ludiache. Who made the mistake? It was Ludiache. I almost hit the rewind button there, didn't I? I gotta love a prop intercept. I love how you say Reinach. Says Bush Editor, and also so many knock-ons from the Argentines in the prime position. And at the post, says John, I think you're ahead, so be sure to avoid the spoilers if you can. How do you not lose your voice? I actually have no idea. I think I should have lost it multiple times throughout weekends, and somehow it sticks around. But I normally sound a bit rough the day after. They went for the 3 because they know they can't get to 7. Says Rugby Ready. Well, they were actually the first side to get a 7 in this match. But they decided to take the lead early, rewarding themselves for the ill discipline. But of course, for Carreras, he would have to get this one over. It hits the post and bounces away. And now South Africa will be able to get themselves back down the field with a good shot from Reinach off the boot. Springboks have ruined Christmas. Oh, that's ugly. That's really ugly. And I think there was Sasha Fainbu Zulu flying through. This might be a yellow card. The crowd are not happy one bit. The ball currently on the side of the South Africans. Been told to use it. The crowd are absolutely screaming at the moment. The TMO, Ben Whitehouse, will be checking this one time and time again. And come on, guys, what's going on? Says Patricia Erasmus. Didn't many South African fans diss the All Blacks for only winning in the last quarter, but it's considered strategy for South Africa, says Zakai. Yep, going high again. TMO seems to be relatively happy. Nice slap back by Edward van der Merwe. The Boks looking rusty. A little bit of rust early on for some of their players. I think they're starting to get back into the work now, though. There's a lot of swearing going on in that breakdown, but 47 minutes through. Lovely accent, says Ruth. And big unit Rapetti, no stranger to a fish supper. Ball is out. Reinach. Go on, box kick again. Still plenty of time left on the clock. Nicely taken by Edward van der Merwe. Decides against an offloading choice. Now Reinach back across the Buan Fenta. Rush defense on Sasha Fainbu Zulu, fighting for a couple extra meters. To the halfway line. I have faith in the Boks, says Cynthia there. It sounds like they aren't focused, says Byron. And also the Boks winning percentage against the Pumas is extremely high. This is rare for Argentina. Not quite taking that one cleanly was Isgro, but it's ruled as backwards by Ridley. We haven't actually had a stoppage since that big collision between Sasha and the Argentine kicker. But the TMO, it seems like they've cleared it. And plus, it's too long to go back to it now, I would say. Although technically, I think they still can if it's foul play. Now, away to the right-hand side. Skip pass on the outside. Sinti cutting back in. No, it was actually Inacio Mendy. Now, Inacio Ruiz. I think there'll be a few more subs coming in the relatively near future here as well. Big driving tackle by Andre Esterhuizen. Now, still going backwards here, Argentina. They've lost quite a few meters in the process of this one. Maka Fansana, that's round the neck on the Argentine player. I think it was on the far side of the ruck, though, so Ridley didn't quite catch it. Now, skip pass to the left-hand side. Another step back inwards from Inacio Mendy. He was almost through the gap, but just slipped over at the last moment. Now, another step from Santiago Carreras. Offloaded the ball up. And it's dropped by Sanchez Valerolo. Counter-attack and Upper Lilifasi looking for the 50-22. Chasing after it is Ethan Hook, who can't quite get back. Forced down by the Argentinians. And it becomes the goal line dropout. Any standouts for the Boks and any underperformers? I would say at the moment, in terms of best player on the field for the South Africans, I'd probably almost give it to Elric Lowe. Okay, the touch judge isn't sure if the Inacio Ruiz has forced it down. He's forced it down, obviously. Always in goal, so it is going to be the goal line dropout. I'd say Edward van der Merwe has also gone quite nicely. It's Asha did all right, says Big Rig there too. Okay, subs are being made, but still 30 minutes left on the clock. And South Africa have hooker and New Zealand have had Hall playing, says John. And also South African fans criticise everything about other teams do, but their team does the exact same, says Jeff. And also, come on, Argie, says Barry. But now, Santiago Carreras is going to be a key. Benjamin Grondon taken off pretty early here. A depth from South Africa. They're trying to act mythical and they aren't, says Mega Dollop. And South Africa have hooker. Oh, no, I read that one. No, come in the box, says Ruth. Kick down to the halfway line. The ball dropped by Honeycomb, but it went backwards. And now a big bump off of Pablo Matera. A little bit slow getting back up to his feet as well there. Johan Robala moves it across the Sasha Fain. Zulu moving it on now. Kanan Moody off to Edward Fundermerva. Just runs out of space though and is driven into touch. I see you back on. He will not be back for the rest of this game evening, all late to the party, but my blood is green. Bot for the win. Yeah, currently late in South Africa for this contest, 10:30 or so in the evening. Yeah, Edward Fundermerva just tackled into touch by Santiago Carreras. And come on, boys, says Stephanie. Thrown in, almost overthrown there. Good aggression shown by Johan Grobela to take it back. And I do see also that Gerald Stennekamp has made his way onto the field. And that is also Cobus Visa out there now too. In fact, they've made multiple more changes. We do see Ben Jason Dixon out there and Zachary Porthin. So they've decided to pretty much empty the bench at this point with the exception of Johan Grobela and then also Andre Pollard. Oh no, Vandenberg also not on yet. Now back to the left-hand side, Evan Etzebeth. Couple metres out from the line at the moment for the South Africans. Cobus Reiner popping the ball up to Mako van Staden. Tries to spin just that little bit closer. Argentina need to roll out of that breakdown. Andre Estes and clapping his hands. He wants the ball. He's got it, but he's held up in the in-goal area. Brilliant defence from Los Pumas. Our lovely bench says Truth and Justice. The box beginning to rumble, says Dunk. That was their opportunity, but unfortunately for them, just a mistake made. I think Mornay is the name that was being shouted by Jan Hendrik Vessels, who is actually another player who hasn't made his way onto the field as of yet. So I would say Mornay Vandenberg's maybe about to make his way on. I think that was maybe communication with the sideline to say who it is making his way on. Arnicom has hands and feet, says Rugby Jackal. The bench immediately turning things up. Sincere will come back in the 82nd minute. Tactical change. And awesome purpose defence so far is outstanding, says John Tipu. That one kicked down the field. Nicely taken there by Cameron Honeycomb, who again will run it up to the halfway line. Big shot on him. Can't believe they jumped Mornay over Rapis, says Yanko there. Now Ronak going to the right again to Andre Estes, and he'll be frustrated because he's not used to getting held up, normally able to just batter his way straight through. Morena Hamish, have you slept? Poor bugger says, Tomo, I've got about 4 hours sleep in the last little while, so that's a pretty decent effort on my part. Normally it's a lot less than that. Lenny Bailey is in the chat too, but now Reinach going for the box kick again. Edward Fundermerva chasing after it. It's going to be slapped back. Ethan Hooker chasing to try and get that ball. In fact, it was Honeycomb this time, but Argentina back with possession inside of their 22. What is the time at the moment? It is currently 52 and a half minutes through in this fixture. Pollard on the bench. He certainly is. They haven't gone to him as of yet, though. And Honeycomb everywhere, very fit, says Ian. He's had a lot of moments throughout this game. Same with Eldrick Lowe, though I think Lowe has been taken off the field now. We're just seeing here another change about to be made. And see a much respect step down. William on top, says Eldrick. And I'm back, Hamish, from getting some food. Made some chicken and waffles. Says Josiah, the game needs more tries. Yes, so far only the two taking place in this matchup. Benjamin Grondona and also Edward Fundermerva. Jeebus Creases, the Box are playing an absolute bad. Blasted attack coach is sabotaging us. What are we doing up and under BS? Says down south Safaris. Now Reinach on the short side. Edward Fundermerva going for the grubber. The ball has stayed in the field of play, but they have lost meters again, South Africa. Back across to the left. It's going to be Honeycomb popping the ball up to Ben Jason Dixon. Straight on the ball for Argentina was Binger, but couldn't quite hang on to it. Now again, Honeycomb, another carry. He's been probably the busiest player on the park, I would say, for South Africa. Kanan Moody. It's the ball up again. Reinach away to the left-hand side, finds the hands of Cobus Avesa. Still enough time for either of these sides to be able to get themselves a victory. How long you been streaming? As in, like, in general, the channel first stream was back in, like, 2020, I think it was. Oh, no, it might have been a bit later. I think it was 2021. Now, Reinach again going away to the left-hand side. Johan Grobbelaar still slowly moving towards that 22. Ben Jason Dixon, another big chopping tackle. Looks for the offload. No one was ready for it. Etzebev manages to clean it up. Thank you very much, Tomo, for your generosity there again. 54 minutes through. Reinach rolling it back, gives it to Visa. This is where last time we saw South Africa actually attempt to go for the drop kick rather than continuing on with the phases. Oh, they're going box kick. Box kick from 25 metres out from the opposition line. Honeycomb chasing after it. The ball bouncing awkwardly, so a bit of a reset stage, and that was out for Mako van Staden. Referee does let it play on. Crowd not happy with it again, and when the TMO does come in, it will be rolled back to being the line out. But for now, another attacking chance for the Springboks. Sasha Feinberg, Mgume Zulu. Sitting here about 25 metres out from the line. Now Reinach again, way to left. Pollard has a calm way of playing. And maybe the Boks are taking it easy, conserving their energy for the All Blacks. Says William. Being pinned on top in that breakdown. Now Reinach again goes up to Kane and Moody. Sitting 25 metres out. That was round the neck from Inacio Ruiz. Now back across. Cobus Vesa trying to bump through Morrow. Now Reinach, skip pass on the outside, out to Ethan Hooker, who carves back in but just couldn't quite manage to get through the last defender. Reinach again looking to his right-hand side. In the hands of Harold Stennekamp. Now up to Vesa, aggressive line being run by the big replacement 20, Zachary Porthen. 5 metres from the line becomes 3. 6 phases in a row currently. For the green and gold, Ben Jason Dixon. He will fall 2 metres short. Reinach thought about going. Looking away to the side. Johan Grobbelaar reaches out, gets it down. Referee doesn't award the try yet. I think they want to check to see whether or not it was a secondary movement. But I believe Johan Grobbelaar has got that one. It looks like the Boks need new blood. Says one away Brides. I mean, this is a pretty new blood team, though, in terms of some of the guys in there, but I assume you're talking about some of the older veterans of the team. Double movement says Dunk. So yeah, they are checking to see whether or not this was double movement or whether it was just one movement to place that ball down for Johan Grobbelaar. One-dimensional rugby is easy to defend, says John Tipu there. Some great international rugby games played, except the All Blacks, says Tomo. Yeah, I think the game of the weekend is still probably Japan versus Australia, although this game could shape up towards that as well. We have good there. You haven't been streaming for a while. Where have you been? Still about. Just busy on the last couple of weekends. Plus, there weren't any international games or anything along those lines, so we just decided to take the break. But also, I ended up going to a couple games, or one game actually. They are just showing. Oh, we're going way back. He was in touch, Mako van Staden. I mentioned it at the time. That should have been done 4 minutes ago, and that is one of the big reasons why people hate the TMO inclusion. Mako van Staden, like I said, clearly in touch. It could have been checked at the time and it would have been fine. They could have gone, yep, we'll rule that back. But now, unfortunately, what's going to happen is they're going to go back 40 metres, 15 phases. It's going to go no try. They've wasted 2 minutes of this contest too by continuing playing. Like, it's very poor on that side of things because it was very clearly out at the time. But it's going to be no try, wasted 5 minutes of play. Absolutely. They should give that time back. Yes, that's all right. Says Josiah, and how many phases back? Probably about 15. They're just finding the line here, and got to love the TMO. Says Gotsia there. And what the heck is the touchy even doing? And how can they go back that far? Technically, they can. And they did. RS Rolling Rugby, unfortunately, says Tomo there. It looks like the change now for Winger, and stupid and should have been called at the time, but I can't feel bitter about losing the try that we shouldn't have scored, since we should have lost possession, says Simon Barnes there. And where will the game be played? How far from the line now? So about 15 metres out from the line, it is going to be for the Argentinians. The score will remain at 10 points to 10 after 56 minutes. Now line out. Oh, Ebenezer thrown early up into the air. They weren't quite able to get the turnover. Nice step coming. And then Santiago Herreras will kick this one towards the sideline. Nicely taken by Edwell van der Merwe. Trying to get the bump off. There's been some brilliant defence from both of these sides. Reinach away to the left. Cameron Honeycomb again with the ball. What a player gets seriously injured, scoring a try. And then they go back to an action 5 minutes ago, says Darren. And come on, Pumas, says Josiah. Pressure on the breakdown for the Springboks. Sasha again will go with the aerial game. They're looking like they're heading in a backwards direction currently. The ball knocked back towards the 22 for Apalele Fassi to be able to clean it up. Every breakdown at the moment, Argentina look aggressive. Timo should be able to rule on what the ref specifically asked for. So if it's grounding of a try, then can only look at that, says Chris Lord. Now Reinach again. They haven't brought on Morne Vandenberg as of yet. One kicked high. Down towards 45 metres out. Nice take from Argentina. May have been a bit of shepherding involved there because it seemed like a bit too much of a clean take there in terms of the lack of competition from the South African chasers, but still up to the halfway line here for Los Pumas. Still this game well and truly on the line. That's what happened in the World Cup as well. Says Iggy, yeah, it was that rolling maul one, wasn't it? Although that was also still allowed at the time. Oh, no, actually, no, that one wasn't allowed. So they changed the rule so that it was 3 phases you could go back. Now it is as far as the play started. Penalty Argentina, says John. So I assume you're still ahead in terms of the spoilers. One's going to be kicked high for Moyano. Now about 40 metres out from the line. Big knock on. And it is going to be now the chance for Apalele Fassi. Here's Sasha Feinberg and Zulu on the inside. Look for the offload again. It was a risky one, but it's set up into the hands of, I think that is Johan Robela. Yes, it is. Now, oh, that's an ugly challenge on Ebenezer. Although he jumped into it and the penalty awarded to the Argentines in the breakdown. Will the rankings change after this game concludes? I don't think so. It depends on who you talk to, though, because it is regarded as an international friendly, but it is still a test match. So, yeah, I don't know whether or not there is movement, but it would be a big one for Argentina if there were points online. What was the percentage of the first half possession, says Anton? I am not actually too sure. I think Argentina would have had about 55%, though. All right, so the penalty does go the way of the Argentines here. Timo must be for grounding purposes. Says Iggy, and taking the 3-pointers if close. They're about 65 metres out from the line, so I don't quite think the 3 points is on the cards here. I do think we'll win regarding the game plan or the gameplay. I would say South Africa still look dangerous enough. I mean, they did have that try chalked off just before. Argentina, this is their moment where they have to go on and they have to score here, in my opinion. If they don't score a try in this scenario, they probably don't win this game. I think that they need the points on the board very shortly. And please, guys, says it was there from Safue. And also we have got the Fassi has been as good as a jacket on a warm day. So here's Lyle, nicely taken there by Argentina. Again, looking to run forward. About 42 metres out from the line. Moyano going away left. 2-man tackle made by Visa as well as Robela, teammates in the URC. Speaking of the Bulls, 7 days' time till they go up against the All Blacks in the Greatest Rivalry Tour. We're going to be covering the whole tour on the channel, including the test matches. So anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. 45 metres out from South Africa's line now. Now, again, a chip in behind, attempted by Santiago Herreras, just gives the position away, and Sasha Feinberg and Gumer Zulu trying to create the angle. Look towards the sideline, well controlled by Santiago Herreras there. Down to the 22, taken by Andre Pollard, who has made his way onto the field. Nice run, passing off to Ethan Hooker. Now back to the right-hand side. We have got there 10. I thought Argentina had half their team out, says Highlanders fan. Now Zachary Porthin. Oh, shot on him again by Moro. Again, Morne Vandenberg this time is going to be the man who is nominated to kick this one with a box kick. One's gone high, making it contestable. Even Etzebeth, the man chasing after it, not able to line it up cleanly. Might have been a knock on from Etzebeth, but play on is the call. So South Africa currently with the ball in hand. Morne van den Berg, Andre Pollard trying the kick in behind, looking for territory as well as putting the pressure on the Argentinian back three. Presiantelli fires a bullet pass to his teammate, sitting 5 metres out for their own line here. Argentina in some real trouble, and the chance of getting driven into the in-goal area, but the box managing to do the job, keeping that ball in. And it is now unplayable. Scrum feed for the South Africans. How's the ref been? I'm generally asking, not implying anything. I think he's been decent as a whole throughout this contest. It seems like it's gone relatively down the middle. Try coming up right now. Yeah, that was a massive play. And Andre Pollard, the man leading it for the South African side, being able to get them into a great position on the park to now look to go aggressive, finish this one off in style. As a ref, it is Christoph Ridley, the man in charge of this one. Hydration break, says John, if South Africa lose. Losing to their little brothers Argentina would be preferable, says Bianca there. And also, box what's going on, how many metres? They are 5 metres out from the try line. And it is going to be a big scrum opportunity for this new front row. Gerard Stennekamp, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, and also Zachary Porthen. Field position 5 metres out from Argentina's line. Thanks, says Jack. And geez, the seam is off the base. Honeycomb looks the part. But a number of them look like concentration is below normal. Things that normally work just half a yard too slow, says Burning Lash. And come the Pumas, please win this game. You deserve to win, says Josiah. And it seems like kicking game doesn't work without Valimza and Lebok, says Gutsia. Yeah, it's been almost far more kicking than I think anyone would have expected. Because normally Argentina are known for a few kicks down the field and whatnot. But, like, yeah, I don't know. They've lacked intent with running the ball, South Africa, a little bit in this game. And best Argie so far, Hamish, I would say best Argentinian out there on the field. I would either give it to Santiago Guerreras. I'm looking at someone like a Grondona was good. They actually took him off early, though, which I was quite surprised about. And the 9 and 10 for Argentina. Yeah, Simon Benitez Cruz also had a very solid game, although another guy that they took off relatively early. And Sasha Feinberg Ungme Zulu. As disappointing as I thought he would be, says Falanza. Rasi currently on the phone. Yeah, taking some notes on the phone or replying to a text message. Someone's probably saying what's going on. And he's saying, watch the scrum. 5 metres out from the line, though. And they push hard there, the box. They've got the advantage. It's scrum time. This one moving forward at 1,000 miles an hour. And they get the grounding. It's Cameron Honeycomb. Out of everyone out there on the field for South Africa, you'd say he is the man that deserved the try. And try for the box says, call me short. Honeycomb will play a bench role in the test. And Russ is probably booking for Limza a flight. And also my fingers across now, says Patricia. And there too. But they did have that penalty advantage. And again, it is all down to the way that that kick came in behind from Andre Pollard. Try all cleared was the comment there. They were just making sure that it was all good. They are happy with that one. The Springbok coaches, sorry you got it. Says John, well, please, again, try not to do the spoilers or you probably have to get timed out soon because you've spoiled every single thing that's happened in this game. But currently 17 minutes remaining. Andre Pollard does manage to convert, making the score 17 points to 10. As far as I'm concerned, it's 21-10 right now. Yeah, you're going to hold the grudge, aren't you, about that one from earlier on? But that's all right. We have got there 63 and a half minutes through, 17 points to 10 with this performance. Seems like Sasha is the third choice fly half. Says Gutsia there. With this performance, seems like Sasha is the third choice. Oh no, I read that one. I wouldn't be seriously disappointed if Polly missed the kick. And Honeycomb for the man of the match. Yeah, he's certainly shaping up that way currently with how it sits. No grudge, out is out, move on. Says Simon Barnes there. Sitting about 22 metres from their own line here. South Africa with a 7-point lead in the final quarter. 21 box kicks, says John Tipu there. I think Sasha's trying to do too much. I think he's been just a little bit, I'd say rusty is the perfect way of describing it. He's had 2 months off with an injury. He's probably nursing it just a little bit still. At the end of the day, when you just return, you want to make sure you don't re-injure that same problem. But the thing is, I know that because of how much people hype up Sasha as soon as he has a bad game, the ones who don't like him being hyped just jump on it. So I think there's going to be a bit of criticism towards this performance, but Rassi is still going to have that's a big chopping tackle to the kneecaps and a missed opportunity out wide for Rodrigo Isgro as the ball bounces through his hands. He does go into touch. We have got there from Anissa has got come on the block. And we have got there, that's why the box scrum is so dangerous. Knock the ball on in your half, that's it. You're screwed, the scrum will certainly score. And we have got there from Skye Dragon has said, I want to F some South African right now, especially a matured married woman's. Well, probably this is the wrong place to find them, Skye. You're probably going to have to pay for that by the sounds of it with your conversation starter, but good luck. Go to the bank and get your cash out. We have got there, apparently the result will affect the rankings. Oh, that's going to be a big call. Andre Estays are now taken off the field. He knows what he wants. He just doesn't know where to find it, does he? Sasha is a 13 or 15 comfortable, not. Oh, the one thing he is not is a 10. I'm old, you're the best commentator I've ever heard, says Stuart there in classic YouTube comments, says Great. And also we have got, that's a wild statement from Foreign Warren. He said, you can have my mum. We have got there Andre Estays in self-inflicted HIA. Currently 15 minutes remaining here. The lead is 7. I think one more try for South Africa. They probably secure this game. Mr. Biscuit, good to be back. Says Stretch Fletcher, welcome back. Some possession now starting to sway in favour of the Springboks. Best commentator out there says, my name is Lee. Now, another change. It is going to be Juan Mutton Skelzo, who makes his way on. Thankfully, Pollard's come on to save Sasha Feinberg and Zulu, and Patricia Erasmus said, yes, best commentator. Thank you very much. Now, penalty won by South Africa there in the scrum. This is where the game goes from bad to worse for Argentina. We talked about it, momentum. Something that Argentina needed to keep in their firm control throughout a majority of this game. And it's starting to slightly go in the opposite direction now. South Africa starting to control the tempo. And Elric Marco very solid. Doing the hard work. Yeah, the South African loose forward trio in this game has been very impressive throughout this contest. Sasha Feinberg and Zulu is vastly overrated. Says Truth and Justice. And missing Chisel and Colby, although he will be back for the test matches up against New Zealand, of course. Now, line out here for Jan Hendrik Vessels. This is a pressure line out too. This one needs to go straight and just went over the hands of the Argentinian Guido Petty, claimed by Cobus Visa. A rolling maul again being attempted here. Being told to use it once. Mornay Vandenberg. He got it available. It looks like it's almost going to come out the back. Told to use it again. Now moving it away. Little grubber attempted in behind by Andre Pollard. It sits up now for Argentina on the counter-attack. It was Vandenberg. They make the spot tackle and hung on to it nicely too. Keep it on the side. Or keep them contained inside of the 22. We have got there, I've said it before, you attempt a pronunciation of a means is to be commended, says John Tipu. Awkward bouncy ball, but claimed by Ethan Hook, and now Sasha again will go for the up and under. Hasn't got a huge amount of distance on it, but he's retained his own kick, so I guess that's worked in his favour. Now Maka Fun start and driven down. The counter ruck, Ethan Hooker, the man who makes the clean out. And enough talk about Ages lads, we're not Americans, says Rugby Jackal. And also 6 wastes the chance at the 22, says Colby Short. And also these up and downs, or up and unders into the wind don't make sense. I'll kick downfield again. And it's a hard collision in the air. It's set up for Argentina to be able to claim. Pablo Matera going for a box kick off his left boot. That's something that I don't think anyone had on their bingo card for this matchup. Sasha now running it forward. Great tackle made and pressure in the breakdown straight away from the Pumas. They know that now is the time that they need to be the side that scores. Scoreboard needs an update. So currently we are 68 minutes through. And 17 points to 10. And positive Kiwi chats make commentary great, Hamish. Or make great commentary. And also, why is Sasha kicking so much? That's possession getting given away. And Mornay Vandenberg, he's also joined in the kicking train. Sends up another ball and it bounces into touch. And Argentina will have the line out about 40 metres out from the box line. What is the score currently? Still 17 points to 10. A low-scoring matchup between these two sides. Too much kicking. Someone send a smoke signal. It's not working. The way the Boks are playing, I need a drink, says Anton there. But now Inacio Ruiz. One's gone, not straight from the Argentines. So it is going to be the scrum feed now for South Africa. Both sides going up for the ball. Currently 11 minutes remaining on the clock now. Sasha kicks more than Nas both the kick back in the day. And also the Boks don't seem to be dominating. Says Jan. And Hamish, have you been to Argentina? I have not. It's quite a travel from New Zealand, but maybe one day. Anton, get yourself a brandy and get rid of Dixon and Paul. Paul? Is it like Paul de Villiers? Or am I missing another Paul in this team? Paul de Villiers isn't actually there. Will you commentate Canterbury versus Otago Ranfurly Shield Challenge? Sadly not. I will be driving at the time. So I won't be able to cover that one. Should be a really good game, though, happening down in Dunedin. Are you sponsored by Pump? No, but I should be. Hamish Butte says South African, or Safa. And also watching from Dublin. Great commentary as ever. Hamish says, Ray, thank you very much. But now scrum feed here for the South Africans. They have been able to get a bit more of domination in the second half when it comes to the scrums. I think game plan is to just do enough to not get injured. Ruben Love is so much more steady fly half than Sasha or Bodie yesterday. Another advantage in favour of the South Africans. Andre Pollard going away to the left-hand side. Sasha Feinberg and Zulu moving it on to Upper Lele Fasi. He sits down the opposition. Now Santiago Herreras has to finish it off. Cameron Honeycomb did score the most recent try of the match with a Springboks big run from Cobus Visa. Morne Vandenberg way to the right-hand side to Jan Hendrik Vessels. No pull on the ball is the comment from the referee as to why it wasn't going to be a turnover. Sasha now Andre Pollard. Big wide cutout pass. Finds the hands of Ben Jason Dixon. He is in touch this time. Touch judge gets it straight away. We have the scoreboard update required. So currently we are now 70 minutes through the contest. So South Africa playing by themselves then. Says Jeff. Oh, they've decided to try and take that one quickly, Argentina, but they've told not to. Let's not forget that Argentina only came off a scrum penalty by Detroit in the 12th minute. Says Nico in there. And only try for Argentina came off the scrum penalty. And forwarding the box says Patricia Erasmus. And busy day today, I'll asking in how has Fussy been doing. Says Yanko, he's been, I don't like the word average. He hasn't quite been his best, but he hasn't been his worst either. He's had some decent moments in this game, but again, the tactics that we're seeing from South Africa just don't really match the way that Fussy plays. So it's making it difficult for him to really find his feet. Now, Edward van der Merwe, he will kick that ball into touch from inside of the Springboks 22. Look at there, Super Rugby is the best, says John. And also we have there, what's your honest prediction for the game, ever rivalry? I think we can actually win it, says Islanders. I'm hoping for 2-2. Good to see you keeping hydrated. Your vocal cords will need it with all the commentary, says Sam Starr. Now 40 metres out from the South African line. Chance for the Argentines to go to the front. Guido Petty. Oh, there's a second ball on the field. I don't know why Argentina are complaining about the fact that the line out was stopped, because they did actually knock the ball on in that scenario. I think they were asking for maybe a penalty of the hand being played at, though. Currently 72 minutes through this matchup. 8 minutes remain. Currently still the 7 points difference. Honeycomb for player of the match? Absolutely. I don't think anyone else is anywhere near him in this contest. That one's going to be kicked forward. A bit of a loose ball. Picked up by Argentina with Lucio Cinti. Driven backwards. Bit of an awkward one for Sasha. Looked like he slipped in the breakdown and his knee may have buckled. Just a bit of a concern for a man just returning from a leg injury. Pablo Matera offloading it back. No look flick pass out the back door from the Argentines. Guido Petty grubbering that ball in behind. Again, something that you don't see too often, but we've already seen him and Matera go for a great tackle made by Argentina. Chasing back was Moyano. The big bump off attempted by Ben Jason Dixon. Another box kick from Morne Vandenberg, although this time there might be a bit of space in behind depending on the bounce of the ball. Nicely claimed by the Argentines inside of their 22. Santiago Herreras makes his way up to the 22-metre line and boots it downfield into touch. Sasha's not going to be the same. And we have got there the Pumas in a few years' time in the top 3 ranked. And player of the match is what happened to Mum, says Trev, and also Rivers a chop. And top 14, easily best league in the world, says Rugby Jacko. Yeah, the kick downfield from Guido Petty. Now, possession at the moment in this contest, 60% in favour of South Africa. Territory, 65%. Jacko Easy says, call me short. And Sasha was very poor today, says MK. Now, nicely taken by Eben Etzebeth. On a way to the left-hand side, Marco van Staden tackled round halfway. And Morne Vandenberg, 6 minutes remain now. Be a few players out there keeping a close eye on this clock. Oh, put up nicely, taken in the 22. And quickly taken, in fact, by the Argentines who break through with Pablo Matera up to the halfway line. They initially called the mark and then decided to do something with it straight away. Herreras now looking for the 50-22. Massive amount of space in behind, chasing after it for dear life. Was fussy and he manages to keep the ball in the field of play. Brilliant work from the South African 15, but Sasha Feinberg, he will clear the ball. It has gone into touch in Argentina. Do not take this one quickly. About 43, 45 in fact, out from South Africa's line. But that was brilliant from Fassi. That easily could have been a 50-22 for Argentina, and then you turn it into about a 5-metre rolling maul. The worst game I've ever watched for the Springboks, says Longer there. And also, I wouldn't rule out a 2-2 for the rival series. I don't think it'll be 4-0 though, says Sam Starr. But just keeping it in the field of play right at the perfect time for Fassi. How much time left? Just the 5 minutes now remaining on the clock, 75 past in this close contest. Now this one's going over the back. Mistake made by the Argentines, and Cameron Honeycomb, out of everyone, could have ended up with that ball. Of course it would be him, off the way that he's been able to play 3 minutes. His wildlife memories. You do well, Hamish, for 4 hours sleep. I must have a box of Red Bulls under your desk. Believe it or not, I've never had a Red Bull. That's a mark taken by the Argentines with Santiago Herreras. This time they decide against taking it quickly. In fact, it was Rodrigo Istro this time. I predicted a tie, says Michelle. And also 4-0 is a ridiculous call, says Barry. Now Iskro looking to kick it down the middle of the field once more. Seems to be the tactic that both of these sides have opted for multiple times in this game. Sasha is once again going to go boot to ball, although he's chasing after, and this is going to be a great chance. He retains it again. Oh, what a take that is. He decided to try and boot it downfield, and Argentina able to take it cleanly with about half a second of reaction time. Now ball on the side of Argentina again, 40 metres out from their line. If this is how we're going to play, New Zealand is going to destroy us, says Longer. And also stay away from it, says Simon for the Red Bull. Now kick across field. And it's Sasha's ended up smacking his head on the ground, but the ball is still alive. There's the knock on from Argentina. So South Africa will get the scrum around the halfway line. Fatigue kicking in, says John Tipu there. Yeah, both of these sides, it's been quite the tempo. In fact, they're actually going to go back for the original knock on from Sasha. Which does mean that Argentina will have the scrum feed. Why are people so critical or quick to criticise player of the match? But we've had sporting codes, so most valuable player for centuries, and it's fine, says Simon. I thought South Africa would have been further ahead, says Matthew. Is Sasha okay? Sounds uncomfortable. Yeah, he is fine. He just led into trying to catch a ball with his face, which is never recommended, but he actually avoided getting kicked in the head. He only got kicked in the forearm. We have there the worst Bok test was 0-57 versus New Zealand in 2017. Cameron Honeycomb win man of the match. He should. In fact, I don't think there's anyone else that you can even look at as a potential man of the match candidate. Don't get me wrong, there's some players who have done well, but Honeycomb has been incredible throughout this match. Sounds like a win then, I guess, says Youngko. If we're going to play like this against the All Blacks, then I don't have faith, says Patricia there. 3 tries, what a snooze fest, says Lyle. There might still be time for one more. Argentina have a chance to get something going here. Thanks for the commentary, Hamish. Brilliant as always. Congratulations, Bot. Good night, everyone. Nothing matters until the first test. Rossi not going to play any structure for Rennie to latch onto, and vice versa, says Truth and Justice. But 2 minutes now. The scrum, there's about 15 medics on the field that they just have to get off. And a great good commentary, says John, and this is a warm-up for the Box. Just what they need before the All Blacks. says Aiko. So yeah, next week they have got the week off and then straight into that All Blacks first test match of the Greatest Rivalry Tour. Cameron Honeycomb now making his way from the field with a bit of a neck injury by the looks of it. He's got the ice pack on the back of the neck though, and I don't actually think this is anything that would be too concerning for Honeycomb in the long run. It looks like they might actually be taking him for an HIA though. And Cameron got a pain in the neck due to this game. Well, he's been carrying his Springbok side on his shoulders here, so no wonder the neck is a little bit sore. Now ready for this scrum feed. Eldrick Lowe back out onto the field. When we'll see a sub 25th minute of the game, roughly, when Sia Khaleesi made his way from the park. Ball almost got stuck in there for Argentina, but realising quickly was Moyano, which was really well done from the replacement halfback. Backline movement here for Argentina, firing it out wide. Ignacio Mendy, what a tackle that is, and a brilliant play, although into touch for Moody, so it is going to be the line out for the Argentinians. A bit of a territory gain. And a bit of a push and shove there between Isgro and Marco van Staden. They're the best league games are the worst, or worse than the worst union games, says John. Wait, the best league games are worse than the worst union games, says John. You're obviously not a fan of rugby league then. Thanks for the great commentary, says Christian. No worries at all. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, hit that subscribe button. We have got plenty more coming up for this Greatest Rivalry Tour. If you are new, sure to hit subscribe. But Argentina still have a chance of drawing this contest. They are currently sitting with 90 seconds remaining around the halfway line, with pretty much this being the last attacking opportunity. Now away to the right-hand side again, Guido Petty. Started this game, he's had a busy old contest, mainly infringing, but 50 metres from the line. Not moving forward currently with 60 seconds remaining. Why are they doing that? Pablo Matera, 50-22 attempted by the number 6, and he's got it. It might be a 50-22 for Pablo Matera off his left boot here. I remember a couple, was it last year or the year before, they were saying they didn't even know what foot Pablo Matera would use for kicking. But yeah, he has gone for a 50-22 attempt there. That is bold from the skipper, and we're just waiting for confirmation of whether or not it is. Yes, it is. What a play. It seemed like a really weird decision, but obviously they didn't have anyone back there, so Pablo Matera was confident enough in his kicking game. He's kicked twice in this match. He's gone for a 50-22, and he's had a box kick in this contest. Thank you, Hamish. We appreciate all your your effort and sleeplessness. Nicely taken by Argentina, though, and they are in a much better position on the field now. Only 10 metres out from the South African line. Great driving tackle from Morne Vandenberg. This is all about making the right decision now on the attack, trying to get in there round the side, and that's going to be the advantage against Ben Jason Dixon. So Argentina guaranteed one last attacking chance here at least. Now back, Herreras. The countdown is on the clock at the moment. The referee has just been informed it by the TMO. But if you're in the scenario, Argentina need to score between the posts. Carreras going for the grubber in behind. It's got taken out. Why didn't they just keep running it in that scenario? That's when you've got the chance to just literally go caution to the wind, keep on going. But they decided to go for a grubber that hasn't worked for the last 80 minutes of the contest for either side. But it will be right in the middle of the field, and they will have themselves the penalty here. 8 penalties each in this contest against the sides. But we are after the red on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. South Africa currently still lead by the 7. We're going to see here, though, Ben Jason Dixon just going straight in off his feet in the breakdown, looking to get that steal, then just fell forward, not supporting the body weight. But yeah, it's a big mistake made by Argentina going for a grubber in that scenario. Rassi said it would be very tough, and it was. Says Ian there, and isn't this how the England-Puma game ended? Says Big Rig, pretty much. Yeah, brilliant commentary, Hamish. Stress is taking its toll now, says Patricia. Right, it looks like Argentina are going quick tap here. That seems to be the option that they are looking at. Tap taken, sitting 5 metres out from the try line now for Los Pumas. Can they finish this game off in style? Marco van Staden looking to rip the ball away. Matera leaves it for the Argentines. I feel like South Africa know that Argentina want to score up the middle of the field. That almost became a rolling maul there. But 5 metres out still, sitting here for Argentina with a chance to draw this game up against the world champs. Sitting 5 now straight out in front of the posts. Moyano moves it on to the captain, Pablo Matera. He had that 50-22 that got them here in the first place. No advantage against the Springboks as of yet. No arms in the tackle attempt there from Sasha Feinberg. Mgume Zulu, but referee ended up missing it. 10 metres out from the line for Argentina. 81 minutes through in this exciting test match, or at least the exciting finish of it. Now going back to the right-hand side, Pablo Matera not quite able to get through again. Have they got the advantage yet? It doesn't look like it for the Pumas. Spinning out of it. Some good carries at the moment from the big number 16. Moving away to the right-hand side again. Herreras with a Waikato pass. Hands from Isgro close to the sideline. Just manages to stay in the field of play. Back across to the left-hand side. This is phase after 14 now at the moment in this contest. Now moving away to the left-hand side again, middle of the field, Andre Pollard couldn't get the steal. Moyano moves it on to Isgro. Herreras with a quick hands, one more pass and the ball's been dropped out wide and it is put down and the game is now over. 17 points to 10, the win in favour of the Springboks. The command says Naidu Honeycomb. I think Honeycomb has to be man of the match, doesn't he? In that scenario, but the Argentines... Again, just like this happened, or like it was only a couple weeks ago, it is the same scenario. The man in tears, Matthias Maroni, he knows that was the chance to get it going. I did see that John also did put in another spoiler, and he said, see you all in 2 weeks. Not if you're doing the spoilers, John. We'll have to sort that out. We have got the I Told You knock on. Says Regan, and also defence that wins your World Cup in Justice, Argentina. And also we have got the holy cow, that was a try. If he didn't spill it. Yeah, although it would have been a tough kick. I think that the biggest mistake that they made, similar to what we actually saw up against the English, the Argentines decided to try and go for that scrum for too long rather than quick tapping. In this scenario, going for that weird little grubber in a situation where they didn't need to, that was really what did hurt them in those final moments. But again, brilliant test match between these two sides. 17 points to 10, the win in favour of the South Africans. Man of the match, like I said, has to go to Cameron Honeycomb, but nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got the Sharks versus All Blacks game taking place on Wednesday morning, New Zealand time. So we will be covering that. And Tuesday night for you guys in South Africa. But if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe like I mentioned. And I will see you all for the next one.